Welcome everybody, this is Latvian Grandmaster Connections, and I'm pleased to welcome you to a brand new day of 54th Biel International Chess Festival. Today already has started day 3 for the classical tournament, and the festival is proceeding from 24th July, which was the previous Saturday, until the 4th August. Before we are gonna tune into the playing hall and we have access to the live feeds, I'm gonna provide the commentary for the games. I want to remind you about the format of the tournament. So 8 invited players, they're playing out a round robin tournament of 3 tournaments, and this is called the Grandmaster Triathlon. So the first tournament, which was played the previous Sunday, is the Rapid Tournament, which was won by Gata Kamsky by 5.5 points out of 7, having scored 5 wins in a row, suffering a loss in the final round. For every victory, every participant was awarded 2 points, every draw was 1 point, and losses 0 points. So on Tuesday, they started to play the classical tournament, again a round-robin tournament of 7 rounds, playing against each other. And this Saturday, they're gonna also play out a double round-robin blitz tournament. So first we are gonna play a classical tournament, then there's gonna be in between the blitz tournament, another free day on Sunday, and then the tournament is going to resume on next Wednesday. So I would like to show you the top days pairings. Maxime Lagarde is playing against Noel Studer. Yesterday, Lagarde played effortless, pretty much, draw with black against American Grandmaster Gata Kamsky, who started the tournament with 2 white colors. So today, Gata is playing with black, as you can see. On the second board against Kirill Alexeyenko, obviously, this is going to be a big fight because 2 of the overall ranking leaders are playing it out between each other. Boris Gelfand has had a dismal tournament so far, probably something he wants really to forget. But anyway, he has the white color, he's playing against Vincent Kiemer, and probably looking towards to score the first victory in the classical tournament. Let me remind you, Gelfand in the first round lost with white against Alain Pechot. Then in the second, he played draw against Saurin Nihal with the black color. And finally, the fourth player is Alain Pechot, who is playing against the Indian prodigy Saurin Nihal. Yesterday, they played this amazing 130 moves game against Noel Studer, so it was up and down game really. And if you're interested to find out, I believe the overview of yesterday already should be posted at Biel's YouTube page. So the current standings, obviously excluding today's games because none of them have finished. Gata Kamsky leads the tournament overall standings, the Grandmaster Triathlon, with 16.5 points. Kirill Alexeyenko trails behind by 3 points, but it's important to note that every victory in the classical tournament gives the winner 4 points. So essentially, if Alexeyenko wins today, he overtakes Kamsky in the standings. In the third place is Maxime Lagarde, one of the leading French grandmasters, a very sharp player. And in the fourth place, Saurin Nihal, Alain Pechot trails 10.5 points, followed by Vincent Kiemer, Boris Gelfand, and Noel Studer. All right, let's have a look what is happening at the boards, because the games have been already played for a good 2.5 hours. They started at 2 p.m. Central European Summer Time. We made this decision this year not to tune in from the start because I imagine at the opening phase there's not really much to talk about. So we are gonna tune in at about 4:30 Central European Summer Time every single working day. Again, let me remind you, this Saturday there's going to be blitz. So today is a classical game, tomorrow is a classical game. Then on Saturday, they play blitz tournament, double round robins. I will have guests in the studio starting tomorrow. Tomorrow we are gonna have a guest. I'm not gonna mention who it is. The same applies for the Saturday as well. And then on Sunday, there's going to be a break. So finally the players will get their deserved break because, I mean, the previous two rounds, the first and second round, every single round there was a super long game. In the first round, Kirill Alexeyenko was playing 91 move marathon game against Rinnikal, and he beat him in the end, managed to trick him with the two knights, jumping against two bishops and having an extra pawn. And yesterday another new record was shown, and there's one of the players on the screen. Noel Studer played 130 moves against Alain Peixoto, but it was a draw in the end. Really incredible. All right, let's have a look what they're doing here right now. So we are gonna follow the game of Lagarde against Studer, and let's see how did it start. E4, E5, knight F3. E5 is slightly, I think, a surprise from Studer because, I mean, it is one of his repertoires, but he was playing relying on the Sicilian Sveshnikov variation. But okay, I guess he is not really sure about this, so that's why he played E5 and the Petrov. After knight E5, D6, knight F3, knight E4, and here it was the Frenchman's time to surprise. He played C4, and apparently he had never played it before. So again, surprises are a big part of success because essentially you want to surprise your opponent and take him into unknown territory he had no time to prepare. So after c4, white is postponing the decision to play knight c3 or d4, essentially fighting for the center. Studer played knight c6, and now quite a tricky move. d3, knight f6, and only now d4, because the knight on f6 is supposedly slightly more passive than on e4. And here, d5 was played by Studer. I'm not sure how necessary is this. Maybe bishop e7 was slightly more cautious, but I mean, there cannot be anything wrong about this. However, after d5, Frenchman's idea was to play c5 and then play bishop b5, bishop takes on c6, and double the pawn structure. g6 was played by Studer, bishop b5, bishop g7, castle, castle, bishop takes, b takes, and queen a4, and this must have been Lagarde's idea all along because he managed to create quite a static position for black where it's quite difficult for him to make a good use of the two bishops. a5 was played. Obviously, Studer is not interested to sit into a passive defense, and he sacrificed the pawn on c6. Now, I'm not sure what really happens after queen takes on c6. I guess we can try to check this out. It was not played. Ah, yeah, there's bishop d7. Bishop d7, queen b7, rook b8, queen a7, rook a8, and probably draw agreed because the queen cannot escape, because queen a6, you need to understand what happens here. After bishop e5, queen a5, bishop takes on f1, something like, yeah, I guess there's only one move, king takes on f1, knight e4. Despite the fact that white has two pawns for the sacrificed exchange, he's seriously behind in development, thus this is quite a dangerous position. So now you understand why Studer didn't take it. Instead, he played knight c3. I mean, not Studer, but Maxime Lagarde, why he didn't take it. After knight c3, rook a6. Now, black was getting slightly concerned about the pawn on c6. He positioned the rook on a6 so that he can position the bishop on f5. So that makes really, that's a signature of a good player because we are always thinking ahead, right? I'm talking about grandmasters. So it's not like the pawn on c6 is defended, I need to defend it, then I'm going to see what I'm going to do next. So a good player is usually thinking ahead. So it's not only bishop d7, okay, and then I'm going to find it out what I'm going to do next. So Studer definitely wants to activate his bishop, the light square bishop, as active as he can. And rook a6 clearly comes with the idea to play bishop f5, and as odd as this rook looks on a6, it does defend the pawns. So rook e1 here was played, and bishop f5, and bishop f4. Now white appears to be slightly better, at least I thought so from the start. So here stood the played knight h5, attacking the bishop on f4, bishop g5, queen b8, and suddenly black started to seek quite a serious activity at the queen side, attacking the pawn on b2. Yeah, here was played h3. And that's a pawn sacrifice apparently. Queen takes on b2, queen b3, takes, takes, knight f6. So g4 is a big problem. Obviously, you need to deal with this. Knight f6, takes, takes, and b4. You know, I don't understand. I just don't understand White's idea here. Where exactly lies his compensation? Because I'm not sure I see. So for example, let's say black just plays the super solid rook f to a8. Now 8x on b4 is a threat, so I guess something like b5. Oh, maybe like this. b5, c takes, and not knight b5, but knight d5, attacking the bishop on f6 and opponent on c7. But even this position, I'm not sure how great it is. Or maybe it is. Something like bishop d8 allows rook e8 check, king g7. And yeah, the question is what next? Because there might be some bishop d7 or c6. The engine says rook takes on d8. Now this I don't follow really. Takes, takes, knight takes on c7. And rook a to a8. Well, definitely black is not worse here. Having outside passed pawns, and the bishop usually tends to dominate the knight in open positions. There's a chance that something like this might happen, but I just... Maybe it's a great idea. I mean, I don't know. I just visually didn't like it from the start. So queen b8, h3. I guess Lagardère didn't like the obvious move b3 because of some queen b4 ideas. And this queen on a4 is sort of shut out. I mean, maybe queen b4 is not necessary. And then after the take, either black activates the rook at a5, trying to bother the pawn on a2, or after knight a4, this knight is completely shut out of the game. So that must have been really his idea all along, that he sacrificed the pawn on b2, queen b2, queen b3, takes, takes. Now g4 is a big threat. I assume knight f6 has to be played. Although I'm not sure. Does it have to be played? For example, there might be some bishop d3 and bishop b5 move as well, defending the rook on a6. Now this looks like a solid choice. And now there's no b4. Let's say if white tries something like g4, I just play knight f6. Yeah, quite difficult to tell. Anyway, so Studer played knight f6. Maybe he saw something which he didn't like after bishop d3, and knight f6 is a very normal looking move. And now takes, takes to stop black from playing knight e4 and b4. So I believe this is the current position right now between the two players. Yeah, I guess we'll see where it will take, but I have a feeling that black is doing just fine. And obviously, quite a big decision. Maybe, by the way, I can take on b4. Can I do this? A takes on b4, sacrifice and exchange, rook a6, and b takes on c3. Does this work? I mean, black has two very good bishops here and a very strong passed pawn. So rook takes on c6 is an obvious choice, attacking the bishop and the pawn. I don't know, something like king g7, c2, rook b8, rook b1 might be a big idea. So let's say we take it, we play rook b8. So the rook probably, not sure, probably has to go back. Let's say something like c2 and rook a1. Now the question is, what to make of this position? I have a good feeling that black is doing just fine, but so that's why Studer is thinking here. He's thinking very hard, and the question is he mentally ready to do this? Because he did play the Petrov, and usually when you play a Petrov in the opening, it's like a sign that you want to play solid chess today. I mean, not always. Tell that to Fabiano Caruana, right? He plays Petrov and keeps winning with black. But it might be a tough decision for Noel. But although if he is really looking for a way to strike back in the tournament, maybe a takes on b4 is a very, very decent try. So on the clock, as you can see, Studer has 31 minutes, and he knows this is a big decision. This is a big decision. He sees the sacrifice. I think he saw it right from the start. But you just cannot make this decision so easily. He plays a4. Okay, this I didn't check. a4. Maybe it's also great. So let's say knight a4 obviously is impossible because of rook a8. And rook a4 takes, and rook b8 might be black's idea. Because white cannot play rook b1 because the pawn on b4 is under attack and the knight on a4 is disconnected. You know, I think that Studer did a wonderful choice. I like a4. I mean, a takes on b4, I don't know, maybe I just got distracted and I saw some fancy tactics, but I like Studer's choice here. Is that he keeps the things under control, pushes forward the pawn, and rook a4 leads white into some trouble. Maybe white can try to play something like b5 here, because this was one of the ideas in another line. C takes, knight takes, yeah, but there's bishop d8, and now the difference is that the black rook is not standing on a8, so obviously white has no access to rook e8. Although there might be some knight b4, but rook a8. Now these are monstrous pawns which are potentially backed by two powerful bishops. No, I don't think white can go here. So I really question Lagarde's approach here when he started this entire sequence. I mean, it looks a little bit strange. This h3, queen b3, takes, knight f6, takes, and b4. It didn't look right, and I guess Studer found a way. Why it doesn't look right? All right, let's switch to the next game. Obviously, we are going to come back to this, and let's check what is happening in the leader game between Kirill Alexeyenko against Gatakamsky. So this is going to be one of the top games today we need to follow. Let me remind you, Gata is the leader of the overall standings, and Alexeyenko is trailing by 3 points. So every victory is awarded 4 points. So Alexeyenko knows that this is his chance to take the lead in the tournament. I'm gonna switch it on the small screen so that you can see, and let's check how this started. Although I already did check it, at least the very start. Yeah, also, I would like to remind you that, of course, you can ask me some questions in the chat. I'm monitoring you. So I apologize if I'm not always answering. I'm trying to explain what is happening in the games and explain the thought process, which might be uh, uh, of the players. But you can ask some questions. Maybe you see something exciting is happening in other games, or maybe you have some questions about Biel Chess Festival. And we also are going to have some interviews. And after game, so let's say the game finishes in a draw, usually both players are joining the interview. So if you think you would like to ask something really interesting, you can't just write it here. So there's a good chance I might relay to the player. So that is your opportunity to interact with one of the players. I mean, just not something silly, obviously, but some certain question about career or the particular game or something. I don't know. I could ask them. Yeah, so Angelika Volkova is in Biel. She's our correspondent doing the interviews with the players, and I'll just relay her the questions. Right. Okay, so let's check what happened here. And quite surprisingly, Kamsky played knight of 6. You know, the Alekhine defense is a very rare guest of the GM level. This is normally people don't play. And probably the reason is that white very easily gets a space advantage after e5, knight e5, d4, d6, knight f3. This is quite a tricky line. And now after d takes, knight takes on e5. I'll tell you honestly, I'm not exactly sure what is the current stance of this knight e7. I know it's quite a dangerous line. After knight e7, it used to be a playable line before, but I think the engine's already sort of killing this line after knight f7. Knight f7, king f7, queen h5 check, king e6, and there was something like c4, knight f6, d5, king d6. But probably with the modern engines like Stockfish, I guess this line already has been killed. At least people used to play like this before. Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, c6 is the safe choice. So to prepare to play knight e7 at some point so that knight f7 doesn't work. And here, Alexienko prior to the game had played some games against Alekhine. I mean, it's not really a freaking guest, as also in Alexienko's practice, but he had played this before. And sometimes he played bishop c4, and I think against Kamsky, or maybe I'm just mistaken because I checked the games which they had played before. Somebody played bishop e2, but check out this move. Now, Kamsky in every single game he had played the Alekhine, and not so many games, maybe something like 4 games, he had played bishop f5. And then tried to play e6, knight e7, develop the pieces. So here, Alexienko played a tricky waiting move h3. And I tried to understand what's the point of this move, because I couldn't explain it. I thought maybe the idea is to retreat with the knight, so that after any typical bishop g4, now this is impossible. Because, let's say, I'll just make some random moves. Let's say knight f3, bishop g4, h3, takes, e6. No, this is literally a brick wall. And it's quite difficult for white to crash through. Probably the players who have been playing the Karakan and some Scandinavian defense, they know this position and recognize something familiar. So I guess this must have been Alexienko's idea, why he played h3 with intentions to retreat with the knight. And also, bishop f5 now is impossible. I think so, at least, because there's knight f7. Knight takes on f7, king f7, and queen f3. And g4, white is winning back the piece on f5, and this king is walking. So I guess it's slightly strategically dangerous decision. So probably that prompted Kamsky to play g6. And now after g6, only now Alexienko played bishop c4. So really an interesting order of the moves. Short castle, rook e1. Knight e7, and now the knight goes back, knight f3. And usually for these types of positions, black is sort of suffering because of this light square bishop. So let's say something like knight f6 makes a lot of sense, right? So let's say white plays just some developing move. Let's say c3. c3, I want to play bishop g5, knight e2. Black might want to play bishop f5 at some point, but the problem is this bishop is not doing much there. So white is going to play something like bishop g5. Let's say, I don't know, what do you play here? Something like queen b6, queen e2, let's say a rook e8, and at some point there might be a g4 idea. So this bishop is not staying there. On e6 it has nothing to do, on d7 it has nothing to do, on c8 you simply don't want to go back. Okay, maybe there might be some bishop b1, but this is the typical idea, again in some Karakan and Scandinavian positions, is that white plays h3 to sort of deal with this bishop on c8 and say, I'm not going to trade it for you. I mean, you're going to have to find a place for it yourself. So that's why Kamsky played e6 right away, clearly hinting that he's not going to position the bishop on this long diagonal and instead probably seek something at the queen side. So bishop g5, queen c7, queen c1, quite smart, I guess, defending against the incoming h6 positional threat, and now b5 was played. So black's idea is to open the queen side, generate some counterplay. Let's say if white retreats with the bishop, white already needs to understand what is happening after c5. So let's say c5, d takes, knight takes on c5. Now this is a monstrous bishop now, and there might be some bishop b7 ideas, and bishop takes on b5 might be dangerous because now opens the b file and the pawn on b2 is sort of under attack. So I think that was at least the idea of Kamsky here. So Alexienko played bishop takes on d5, c takes on d5, bishop f4, pushing away the black queen from the c file, and only now playing bishop h6. So white appears to have some sort of an edge. Bishop b7, now black is still suffering because of this terrible dark square bishop. Bishop g7, king g7, queen e3, all of this was played. And now, after rook f8, knight e2, black started to organize activities at the center. c3, bishop c6, b4, white is going to position the knight to c5, but now black was just in time to play e5, threatening to establish a very strong pawn formation at the center. For example, if white ignores it and plays something like knight b3, e4 might be a problem. Let's say knight goes back and something like f5, knight f6, h6, g5, f4, and this bishop on c6 might be even activated at some point on f5, and maybe it's not really such a bad piece. So that's why Alexienko here took on e5. Took here and now played knight b3 because now after e4 he has access to the d4 square. Queens were traded, rook c8. Now black has some pressure against the pawn on c3, so the current position is this one. So this is the current position, and I'm not really, again, sure what to make of this. I think Alexienko sort of missed a moment because I had a feeling that he was pressing and he was aiming for a position where his opponent has no real counterplay. So let's go back to this moment. So I think around here. And when I saw this position, I thought this is a dream position for white. Because there's so many dark square weaknesses. At the king's side, this bishop on b7 is weak. And maybe if white will manage to trade away this knight on b1 for the knight on d7, he simply can organize some kind of an attack at the king's side, at the dark squares, and black's light square bishop is not going to be a big help. But if Alexienko missed something, it must have been around here. At least I got the feeling. Maybe there's nothing really. At least I got the feeling that I would like to play this position from White's perspective. Queen e3. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not really sure. Maybe something like Queen f4 could have been an interesting choice, with the idea to play Queen h4 and Knight g5 and not to take on g7 himself. Although Black could try to play still the same idea f6. I'm not sure how it exactly changes things. Yeah, probably it doesn't, because now Knight e2 allows Black to play e5. Now the entire idea of Queen h4 and Knight g5 simply disappears. Maybe there was simply nothing better. So takes, Queen e3, Rook e8, Knight e2, c3, b4. Yeah, so this is quite interesting. I'm thinking maybe I have this crazy idea. Maybe Alexienko could have played something crazy here. What about stopping f6, e5 with some g4 idea? Probably it's just ridiculous. So the point is, if Black plays f6, I want to play g5. And if Black plays h6, I want to play h4. And then dominate the dark squares. But I have a feeling that there's going to be some kind of a tactical solution to this. So Black can sacrifice a pawn and then try to open this long diagonal, which I just weakened. D takes on d4. Yeah, this looks very risky, especially taking into account that White has not finished the development at the queen side. So I'm not really sure. Yeah, I really like this position from the start for White, but now I'm not sure where he could have played better. Maybe he played a perfect game here. So c3, bishop c6. Not sure I understand why this is necessary. Why not e5 right away? b4, e5. Takes, knight b3, takes, rook c8 here and here. So this is I think this is the current position right now. So White has a weakness on c3, Black has a weakness on e5. Bishop 8 is an easy move, which Black can always do. Keeping the bishop alive, maybe something like bishop a8, then either think about doubling the rooks as long as the pawn on e5 is not lost, or maybe there's some d4 tactics. d4 take and take on f3 at some point. But what is quite clear is that Black doesn't want to play e4. I think so, at least. Because this would allow White to play knight e4, getting a very strong outpost on e4, and maybe f3 could turn disastrous for the Black king. Time-wise, both players have about 20 minutes. 22 minutes for Alexienko, 22 minutes for Gatakamsky. They've played 25 moves. I wouldn't really say it's a time trouble yet, but the position is still quite complex. So you want to play it out perfectly. So after something like 5 moves, there might be a little time trouble for one of the players. Alexienko at the moment looks slightly better. I like his position, really. I wasn't really sure at the start about the pawn on c3, but yeah, he looks better. All right, let's check another game, and it's Boris Gelfand playing against Vincent Kiemer. And Kiemer is in time trouble. Check this out. He has 4 minutes on the clock. Okay, technically 5. 20 moves have been played. Clearly, the young German has spent too much time. How did this happen? So they played a Catalan. Okay. Catalan appears to be quite topical opening in the Grandmaster Triathlon, because we saw it in the first round, we saw it in the second round, and it's not a surprise. I mean, it's one of the oldest and one of the most respectable openings, especially for people who play d4, d5. Bishop d2, yeah, this is quite a modern approach. Usually black plays bishop b4 check and bishop b7 is that he tries to underline that white's bishop d2 not always is a good move. So at some point, white want to play b3 or even b4 and bishop b2. So the bishop on d2 sort of is misplaced. It also doesn't allow white to play knight e2, queen c2, and e4. But there's, like, for every single plan, there's a drawback. And the drawback here is that black is pretty much never interested to take on c4 now. For example, let's say bishop d2, bishop b7, bishop g2, short castle. Let's say short castle. Because now after d takes on c4, queen c2, a6, and probably queen takes on c4 makes a lot of sense now, because bishop d2 is a very useful move in these kinds of positions. So this is essentially extra tempo for white for the same position where the bishop stands on c1. So that's why bishop b4 check usually is like a signature that black is not going to take d takes on c4, although d takes on c4 leads to a lot of sharp, interesting lines, but the young German simply wasn't up for that position today, so he decided to play solid. Bishop d6 is another continuation, which leads to quite dynamic games, but okay, bishop e7 is fine. Here, queen c2, first was played, knight c3. Now, there is a general rule about the positions if white plays d4, c4, knight c3 setups, the so-called, which usually starts with queen's gambit declined, black doesn't take on c4. There's this rule. If white has positioned the knight on c3, black should almost always take the pawn on c4, because the knight on c3 appears to be slightly misplaced. So that's why Kiemer played it. D takes on c4, short castle, knight e7, and here knight e4 was played by Gelfand, and I checked the database. Nobody has played like this before. So this appears to be some kind of a new idea. Maybe this move is known from another setup. I mean, I don't know. I'm not really such a big Catalan expert. I have some knowledge, but knight e4 appears to be some kind of fresh new idea. So knight e4 was played, queen takes on e4 was played, and now black needs to understand, does he want to keep the pawn on c4 or instead focus on development? So knight f6 was played, queen c2, b5, b3. Now again, this is a very common idea in the Catalan. So white sacrifices the pawn to get some long-term compensation. For example, c takes on b3, it's not queen c6, it's simply a takes on b3. And now after bishop b7, there might be some ideas with, not even sure, maybe something like rook d1, knight e5, bishop a5, and dominate the dark squares and make this bishop look really bad. So it's not really so simple. And if white usually at this position plays knight c3, this means that he is perfectly happy to sacrifice the pawn on c4. And he is aiming for some kind of a strong pawn center or some lead in development. And black is not really like jumping right away and taking the pawn on c4, because this is a big decision, obviously. And here, the question is, how is black going to develop the bishop on c8? That is the typical issue in the Catalan. So all of this happened, and that's why Kiemer decided to sacrifice the pawn back. He played bishop b7, b takes on c4, and c5. This is a very reasonable idea. I mean, I totally can relate to this, because activity should be normally valued above everything, and black is seeking active play instead of trying to keep this sort of useless pawn at all costs. So that is the modern chess right here. C takes on b5 was played by Gelfand, c takes on d4, and rook d1. So we reached some kind of interesting struggle here, and it's not clear who is even better, because white has the chance to organize an outside pass pawn at the queen side. So let's say a6, a4, takes, takes. The pawn on d4 might be quite weak, and the more pieces are traded, the pawn on b5 might actually become very powerful. So some ideas like knight e5, knight takes on c6 at some point might really work just fine. So here Kimmer played queen b6, a4, and knight e4. I'm not sure why he didn't play a6 right away, because that was my top choice. I mean, the first choice, not the top choice, but the first choice. Maybe there is something wrong. Can I play b6? Some b6 ideas. So it's not really clear from afar. You have to evaluate all of this. Queen b6 and rook b1. And now this bishop on b7 might be in danger. Wait, there's queen c6. I think I just hallucinated it. Queen c6, takes, takes, knight e4, take on g2, king g2. Yeah, it's just equal. It's just equal. So after a6, white can play a4. Probably should play. Takes, takes, and now play queen b6. And at least the black rook is very active. I like this slightly more. I'm not sure. I mean, I just jumped into this position, and of course, Vincent has been sitting here much more than I have, and definitely he was evaluating this position after a6, a4, something maybe he didn't like, or he simply treated queen b6 as the better move. So a4, knight e4, queen d3, bishop f6, a5, queen c5, and knight h4. No, something is wrong with black position. I don't know. Knight d6, because this pin is now getting quite serious. So for example, if I take it here, I guess g takes. I'm not sure. Maybe bishop takes on e4 is possible as well. Takes, takes, the bishop goes on f6, and rook b1, followed by rook c1, bishop f4, b6. This could be quite dangerous for black. The pawn on d4 is not doing anything. It's just a static pawn. So knight e6 was played, rook c1, queen h5, bishop b4, takes, takes here, and we have this position, I believe. Yeah, this is the current position. I think Kimmer is in huge trouble here. In huge trouble. So maybe his entire position started to take the wrong turn. This is okay. I think this is a fine position for him. C takes on day 4, rook d1. So white is thinking about some bishop f4 ideas. And now the question is, why don't you play a6? It's such a natural move. Let me again check it. So b6, I take it, rook b1. There might be even queen a7. I'm not sure why not queen a7. Looks perfectly fine. Queen c7 and bishop d5. And everything is protected just in time. Take. Knight takes on d4. And black is not obliged to take on a2 if he doesn't want to. Just play whatever. I mean, I don't know, something like rook c8. I mean, it cannot be so bad, can it? Maybe white is pressing, but the question is how much. So after a6, the inclusion of a6, a4 clearly favors black, because now the pawn on b5 can be blocked. Queen b6 attacking the pawn, maybe not even right away, but it's a queen b2, and now there might be some knight e4, knight c3 ideas. Yeah, this looks actually very much fine for black. So instead, Vincent played queen b6 right away. And after a4, a6. Now there might be some tricks here with a5. Yeah, this is the difference. Queen takes on b5. Now there might be some knight d4 ideas, and the queen is under attack. So queen d7. Either take on c6 right away, or maybe knight c6. Oh, this is dangerous. This is looking slightly dangerous for black. Take on c6 probably. Queen takes, bishop takes, and that's a weakness on a6. Two bishops. Maybe position somehow the bishop here, rook b1. Doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. So I think queen b6 was an inaccuracy by Kiemer. I think all of his problems started. At the moment, they've played 23 moves, so 17 moves for Kiemer. I think he's in huge trouble here. Huge trouble. So usually it takes just one inaccuracy. I mean, you played this great opening, and I think Kiemer played just fine. Played just fine. He took the pawn on c4. It was okay. He sacrificed it back. It was okay decision. I totally approve. But then he didn't play a6 in time. Maybe I just misevaluated, but I think his problem started with the queen b6. And then you get this slightly worse position. And usually at this point, things tend to go downhill. Because you get an uncomfortable position, and you no longer see a clear plan to equalize the position, because you're playing the Catalan. Something like this, you're thinking about how should I equalize? How should I get the perfect harmonious position? Just a second. Right. Yeah, so on my Twitch channel, we are being raided, and of course, welcome everybody. We are doing the commentary for the 54th International Biel Chess Festival. Latvian Grandmaster Art Nations. I've been here since the previous Saturday. Almost every day we are doing the coverage of the Biel Chess Festival, and this is the main event of the tournament, the Grandmaster Triathlon. So one of the most iconic chess legends, Boris Gelfand, is playing a game against Winston Kiemer, the German prodigy, young star, and he appears to be in total control. So I was explaining right now what happens here. Clearly, black misplayed it. Maybe knight e4 was not a great move. Yeah, so bishop f6 was played with the idea to play knight c3, but now after a5, queen c5, knight h4, things started to get really bad for black. So let me check if this is the final position. Yeah, it is. It is. This is the final position, and Gelfand is researching his options right now. I'm not sure what he's looking here. So knight x on g2 is an easy move. You usually make this move with one hand. Knight g2, rook d6, and you have an outside pass pawn. A black's bishop on f6 is just terrible. There might be even some ideas like, I'm not sure is f4 necessary or not. I mean, maybe it's a ridiculous idea. But I thought about blocking the actions in the center, rear out the knight f3, and then push forward the queenside pawn. But maybe it's just a ridiculous move. But what Gelfand is thinking here, he is probably trying to get more. And the question now is, can he play bishop c7? And that is the million-dollar question. Can he do this? Because the rook obviously cannot go back, because then after knight takes on g2 or king takes on g2, white is simply up material. So I imagine Kiemer will have to play bishop d5. Sacrifice the exchange. Bishop d8, rook takes on d8, and this is the position that Gelfand is looking at right now. Okay, maybe slight different order, but this is the position. Can I do this? Should I do this? Because obviously white wins the exchange, and he knows he should be better. But again, he's trying to evaluate. Maybe he's just giving his young opponent too much counterplay. So you might be thinking, Gelfand is not seeing bishop c7. He's absolutely seeing this. Maybe this was even his first choice. But now he needs to just evaluate. Just evaluate what is gonna happen now. Bishop d5, bishop d8, rook takes on d8. For example, the knight on h4 is under attack, knight g2, and something like e5. And how does he feel? How does he feel about this position? So black is attacking. There might be even some e4 and d3 ideas. So for example, let's say b6, e4, queen goes, I don't know where, and let's say d3. Even this might be possible. Takes and takes. Now this is getting really monstrous diagonal. Of course, on the other hand, Gelfand might just ignore it. Might just don't play rook takes on d6 and play just take it on g2. But you know, he's just evaluating and comparing these lines and making sure that knight takes on g2, he actually doesn't miss the best move. Maybe bishop c7 is the way to go. It's slightly risky. It might be also the most direct way to the win. So this is, again, big decision for the Israeli legend. So that's why he is right now comparing. He's comparing the lines and just maybe listening to his intuition. And usually you want to invest sometime at the critical moment. So I believe that in every single game we have something like at least 3 moments. 3 moments when you need to invest some serious time. So this means there's going to be crossroads. So there is a road on the right. Let's say I take the exchange. There is road to the middle. I take the knight on g2. With the knight on g2, there's road number 3. I just do something else. And you're just sitting here making this big decision. And it's not random. It's not tossing a coin. He's not tossing a coin. He's comparing. He is doing all of that calculation, not only for himself, also for his opponent. And maybe he has already decided in his mind that he's going to play, just a second, that he's going to play knight takes on g2, but he's just double checking. Just a second. All right. I think Gelfand is gonna play knight g2 because I would probably try to keep things under control, and also I think it's quite a practical choice because if black has this position, he's probably sitting in time trouble and he's seeking some kind of active counterplay. Knight takes on g2 means he's gonna be forced to sit into an ugly passive defense. I think Gelfand is going to play knight g2. Might not be the best move, but again, you want to spend some time here. All right, let's check the final game. I'm gonna keep the small board alive so that you can see what is happening here. And we have one more game, and it's Alain Pechot against Nicolas Sarin. Let me just find the feed. So these are the 2 heroes of the first 2 rounds because Sarin played the record game in round 1. I mean, he probably would have agreed to a draw earlier, but his opponent Kirill Alexeyenko was pushing and pushing, and they played 91 moves. And again, let me remind you the time control. It's a long one. It's 100 minutes for the 40 moves. It's 50 minutes for the next 20 moves. And then it's 15 minutes until the end of the game. Plus 30 seconds for every single move. So yesterday, the other hero, Alain Pechot, beat Sarin's record of 90 moves. He played against Noel Studer, also from the defender's side, 130 moves. So they played it about almost 8 hours. And it's incredible. I mean, it's such a long game. I was trying to remember what was my own longest game, and I think it was 7 hours. A long, long, long time ago. So definitely they beat it. And the game could have been even longer had Studer had more patience, but I guess they were just so tired, that he literally rushed slightly, and Pichot led a very difficult defense, a brilliant defense, and he was able to hold it draw. So let's check what happened at the start. There was a very interesting pawn sacrifice. E4, E6, D4, D5, and knight E2. Now this is one of the pet lines of Pichot. He has played this before. Sarin, however, appears to be playing pretty much everything. He's playing E5, he's playing C5, he's playing C6, he's playing with white B3. Really a player with a rich caliber of opening repertoires. So today he played the French defense, C5, knight F3, and knight F6. Something he had never played before, at least according to the database. Previously, Pichot had played e takes on d5. Here he tried to play e5, knight e7, and c3. Now this leads to a big fight. Knight c6, bishop d3, and there are many moves at Black's disposal. Black can play moves like queen b6. I think there might be even a move like g5, if I'm not mistaken, with the idea to push g4. Sarin played f6. So his idea is to demolish the center. Let's say after e takes on f6, Black has a choice. Either to take with the queen, and then play something like bishop d6, short castle, and get a strong pawn center. Or another idea is to recapture with the knight. Just postpone the decision. Just play normal chess, still bishop d6, still short castle, and maybe at some point bishop d7, bishop e8, and bishop h5. So this is one of the topical ideas of the French defense with knight d2. Now instead, Pichot sacrificed the pawn. All of this has been played before. F takes, knight e5, knight e5, d takes, knight e5, queen h5. Now this is a double attack. Black has to play knight f7, and I think this is a novelty. I'm not sure exactly. Doesn't it really transpose to one of the covered lines later? But technically, I think this is a novelty. Nobody played it before. There were some games with rook e1. So he played c4, trying to open the position because this is where the black king is, at the center. g6, queen e2, bishop e7. So black doesn't want to close the position with d4 because this would allow white to play moves like knight e4, bishop e4, rook e1, and pretty much what happened in the game. So bishop e7 was played, rook e1, and now d4. Sarin did close the center. Knight f3, short castle, bishop f4. White has sacrificed a pawn but has very active pieces. So those bishops here on d3 and e5, they're monstrous. But again, it doesn't hurt to remember. Black is up a pawn. He's still up a pawn. So I guess it's about balanced. Bishop f6 was played. Queen g4, including more pieces into the attack. Bishop e5, rook e5, queen f6. This is a double attack. Here and here. By the way, this made me question why not rook takes on f2. So the idea would be king takes on f2, there is queen f6. Probably the answer is white is not obliged to take on f2, and bishop takes on g6 looks to be devastating. H takes, queen takes, and only now either even deliver a checkmate or just take on f2 and there's no longer any queen f6. So after queen f6, black attacks the rook on e5, the pawn on f2, queen e2 was played, b6, g3, rook a7, f4, rook g7, here, 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 and the position is, oh, rook f5. I wanted to fast forward that white appears to be pressing, but here Sarna is looking for a big fight. He offers sacrifice and exchange. So bishop takes on f5 appears to be risky, I guess. Not sure why, really. G takes, queen goes away, bishop c6, queen f2, and maybe bishop e4 even at some point. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to make of this position, but probably, most definitely, Pichot evaluated this to be a risky way because he got this position where he is pressing. He is down a pawn, but he has what we call a free initiative. Black is sitting very passively. He has no active counterplay, so that's why Sarin played rook f5. He's saying, just take this exchange, please, so that I can organize a counterplay of my own. And white did not. He played rook e1, rook e5, king f8. Now, white's attack doesn't look so strong anymore, so we have this position. Wait. What just happened here? Why did the valuation bar suddenly jumped so dramatically? So white's attack appears to be over. Rook e5, king f8, king h2, king e8. So the black king is getting to c7, I imagine. Because at the king side, he needs to watch out for some incoming attacks. So queen f3, king d8. You know, I have a feeling that Sarin is taking over. Despite the fact he's down on the clock 5 minutes, Pichot's attack, it has just wound down. There's no attack anymore. It's just getting to this c7, and that's it. It's an extra pawn. It's simply an extra pawn. I'm not even sure Pichot himself is sure where did he misplay this. Sarin just traded all of the attacking pieces, and I think again we have to really evaluate the power of this very strong move, rook f5. Very brave move. Sacrifice and exchange, but also with the idea to trade away the attacking pieces of white. And now the king walk with just one rook on the board makes a lot more sense, because white is a bit slow and probably cannot play a3 b4 because he's simply missing pieces to bother the black king. And around here, I think white is simply a bit out of ideas what to do. So he played rook g5, queen g4, sort of threatened with h6. And now after rook e7, black is simply threatening to play e5 next. So I guess you have to go back, and now it's white who is passive here. So after king c7, there might be bishop b7, queen c7, and start to deliver some problems. So far, I think this has been a wonderful defense by the Indian prodigy. And there is a move. I think it's h5. I think I see it on the camera. h5 is played. I think g takes is an easy move. G takes something like rook takes on h5 to go after the pawn on h7, and now push e5. Maybe this is playable. I'm not sure. Just a second. Let me double check it. Let's say takes. There's a check. Wins back the pawn. Yeah, but now this king is very weak. Now there might be some queen e3, queen f2, queen d2 ideas. The king is always going to hide here. It's safe. The G pawn doesn't matter, because if he would remove the queens from the board, this would be a great position for white, because he has the outside pass pawn, but here the king is also a factor. I mean, I'm not sure how is forced this line, but I'm just guessing this might be something like this. Let me double check if I'm not missing any action from the other games. So Gelfand did play bishop c7. Okay, that's a very brave decision. Maybe, oh, sorry. On parallel, I'm checking some other games as well. So he played bishop c7. Oh, maybe we should check very quickly Maxime Lagarde's game, because he appears to be in big trouble. Or on the other hand, it's Winston Kiemer, who's been playing a wonderful game so far. So I'm gonna put it on the small board as well. Here we go. So we left it once he played this amazing move a4. So far, really amazing game by the Swiss Grandmaster. So b5 indeed was tried by Lagarde, which I mentioned to be strategic, very risky. But then again, his position already is so bad. Rook d8. Not bishop d8, but rook d8, okay. Sacrificing a pawn. Rook a5. Okay, that's interesting. Now this knight might be feeling not so well here. g4. g5. Knight e5. Threatening to play knight c6, quite obviously. Bishop b7. Here, a3, d5, a2. Oh my goodness, what is happening here? So white played here f4. But this looks completely winning for black. I don't know, because I have a feeling that those queenside pawns, they're just marching faster, aren't they? So for example, b4, c6, bishop probably c8, d6. So that rook d6 is met by some knight c4. But even this position might be not good. I'm not sure. It looks like a big mess, so I'm gonna check what the engine says here. Engine says this is winning for black. Even rook takes on c6. Even this. Knight a5, rook c1, and just put the queen. Even this is winning. Although black will have to show some technique here. Yeah, he has two bishops, a very strong pass pawn. There is some bishop d4, bishop b6 threats. So b4 is fine, but maybe after c6, bishop c8, d6, there's even something better. Okay, rook d6 might not be even necessary. So just play b3. And after d7, just ignore. Just ignore the pawn on d7. Just play b2. So the rook goes away. And no, but just put the queen. Just put the queen. You're gonna do this. So after b2, I think that's it. So takes and takes. So Studer's idea is very simple. Just push the pawns. b4, b3, b2, and that's it. And Lagarde is so much down on the clock, and probably he knows this. I mean, his body language. I mean, his body language is always the same. And I don't know. I don't know. But doesn't look very happy. Yeah, by the way, I've been said that the recap video of the yesterday's day is published. If you want to check it, please head over to Biel's YouTube page, because I'm streaming right now to 3 channels. It's my Twitch channel, and you can find me on Twitch as well if you're interested. So maybe I can post it here so that if you're interested, you can give it a follow as well. Also, we are streaming at Biel's YouTube page, and we are also streaming at the Facebook page. So you can watch the stream from three sites and follow it. And I'm monitoring the chat from all of the 3. So if you have some interesting questions, or you just come by, say hello, I see what you're saying there. All right. Let me very quickly check what's happening in other games. Alexienko's position. Wait, he has an extra pawn. Okay, we are going to go back to that at some moment. Now, Gelfand's position is not very clear. So he has an extra pawn, extra exchange, and a passed pawn, but Black's bishops, they're really powerful. And Pichot is struggling against Sarin. So I guess we are going to follow. Yeah, b4 is played. At least I saw it. It's still not here in the cam, I guess. No, wait, it is. It is. b4 is played. And apparently the Frenchman made a move which I don't see on the screen. Because I see on the camera the pawn stands on b4. I guess it's c6. Let me maybe reload the board if I missed something. So indeed, c6 has been played. Bishop c8 is an easy move. How easy it really can be, such a complex position. All right. But Studer has time. He has 10 minutes on the clock. I think he's just double checking. Just double checking. I mean, he knows he's winning. I think he should know this. It's not a surprise to him. He's not like he's gonna throw a coin and whatever happens, happens. He knows he's in complete charge here. He's just double checking, quadruple checking, because yesterday, you might remember, he blundered badly against Pichot. And he doesn't want to repeat that mistake. So that is bishop takes an e5. Is that necessary? So I guess f takes is automatic. F takes will be automatic. And what is his idea here? F takes and b3, maybe. Takes and b2. Is this easy? Maybe. Yeah, maybe this is also winning. Yeah, so bishop takes an e5. You know, there might be more than one win here. And usually the best advice here is when you feel that everything is winning here, f takes on e5 is played, is this, just pick one line. Whoa, bishop takes on c6. Wait, just a second. Again, this is not the actual position. No. I think I saw bishop takes on c6 here being played. For some reason, the board is not updating. Okay. This I didn't expect, but I guess he slightly didn't like the potential of having the white pawn on b7, although it seemed to be winning. And now maybe rook c6. Queen. Something like king f2. But how easy is this winning? I mean, I don't think this is not so clear. It's just an exchange. It's just an exchange. Maybe rook b8. This is still a fight. This is still a fight here. Again, let me reload. For some reason, the board keeps... and d takes was played. Wait, but this is bad, right? e6, just take it. Don't allow e7. I guess Frenchman has given up. He just doesn't believe in this position. I'm not sure if he had to, because here, after bishop c6, he could still play rook takes on c6, queen takes, king f2, put the rook behind. Still some chances. I don't think it's so bad, but okay, after d6, b3, I just don't see how to stop these pawns. So e6, just take it. Knight e6 and rook c8. Is it so simple, by the way? F takes played. Knight e6, rook c8, and b2 is incoming. Or maybe it's not so simple. After rook c8, c7, b2, and rook d1. Queen, and check. Here, check. Here, check, and here. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I guess black is still winning, so it looks quite sharp, by the way. I think this is Lagardère's idea. c7, rook d1, rook d8. I see nothing else. I see nothing else he could do. Yeah, there's a question in the chat. Is it impossible for Lagardère to save the game? I think the answer is not without the help of his opponent. So he's lost. I think he's lost. As you can see, the evaluation bar is completely down. Black is winning. I'm not sure how precise was this entire sequence of bishop e5, bishop c6, but if that wins, that's all that matters. So b3, e6, f takes, knight e6, now rook c8 is played. You still don't see it yet, but on the camera the feed is a little bit behind, but he's gonna play b3. I'm sorry, rook c8. Or did he play already? Time-wise, Studer is 8 minutes. This is move 36, so not really a time trouble. Not really a time trouble. You can calculate this. I think Studer is winning. I already said this a couple of times, but okay, let's check another game here so that I don't miss any action. Alexienko seems to be just a pawn up for no compensation for black. And maybe I'm going to keep the small board in... No, rook c still has not been played. So I'm going to keep the small board of Studer, and we are going to switch and see what is happening in the game between Boris Gelfand against Vincent Kiemer, because this is quite a sharp position. So the critical moment arose here, a couple of moves back, when Gelfand decided to keep the exchange. He played bishop c7, take, and knight g2. I wasn't sure he's gonna do this, but still objectively this is the strongest move. It just gives black, at least visually, some counterplay. Now g5, nice move to limit the white knights potential to come out. Rook a5, queen d6, rook b1, queen c6, bothering the knight on g2, knight e1. Why not bishop e4? Bishop e4 would allow queen b5. So black cannot play. Rook takes some, bishop takes some b1 because the queen on c6 is under attack, and after the queen, white simply takes with this rook. So it doesn't work. So this is the position. Bishop c6. And it's move 34. This should be winning. Yeah, and the evaluation bar also shows that this is winning because black has no attack here. White would play something like knight d3. I'm not necessarily he's going to trade the queens because this would allow black to establish a pass pawn on c3. But this pawn on b6, there's no attack for black. There might be some knight d3, rook c7 idea, spinning the bishop on c6. So in the hindsight, probably it was a great choice by Gelfand. So that's why he is Gelfand. I mentioned it myself. I said that I'm not sure. I'm not sure about it. Should he take the exchange? Because I also obviously saw it. And Boris was thinking about this for quite a while. Actually, slightly more than quite a while. And he decided to take it. But also for such an experienced player as Gelfand, it wasn't such an obvious choice. But I think he did correct. There's a question in the live board. No, the live board is Studar's games. I think Nikal is doing just fine. Just a second, let me check it. Yeah, Studar's, I'm sorry, Nikal simply has an extra pawn and appears to be pressing. So they have reached the second time control. There's no action still going on. Maybe he's gonna win this. Maybe it's gonna be a draw. I don't see how Pichot can try to get something more after the possession. This is move 35. Yeah, so not only oh, this is, yeah, okay, this is over. This is immediately over. If you trade queens, that's it. That's it. Yeah, I think now Gelfand knows this. This is easy stuff. F3, knight d3, knight c5. The b pawn just promotes. I think Kimmer has given up. So his last chance was to keep the queens alive, or at least force white to take on. But even now, knight d3, I think works just fine. So black attacks the rook on c7. Can I play knight d3 here? Just sacrifice it. Very easy move for Gelfand's caliber. This is the first move which jumped to my attention right away. So the idea is that after the trade, rook c8, we simply play here. And that's it. And after knight d3, maybe some rook takes some b6, intermezzo move with the idea to play rook b6, bishop takes on c7, but there's intermezzo check. And then you take the rook. And after knight d3, what else? What else? So bishop d6, rook takes on d4. Oh, wait, there might be a mate, no? Is there a mate? Take. Okay, this is maybe... Oh, I missed, yeah. I missed the mate. Okay, so maybe not. Bishop d6. What do you play here? Knight d3, bishop d6, and maybe just something like knight c5. Knight c5 with the idea... But okay, this is still tricky. Still tricky. So not maybe so simple. So I just jumped and said that knight d3 looks like an easy move. Maybe it's not. Still, I believe it should be okay. I mean, knight d3, bishop d6, and now just need to find a good move. Maybe rook b5. because bishop c7 still is impossible. And the pawn on g5 is under attack, so let's say h6, and now knight c5. Yeah, I think this is how the game is gonna proceed, pretty sure. Gelfand has played a move here apparently, which I missed again. Of course he plays knight e3. How I'm not surprised. So bishop d6 is the last chance to keep the game alive. Rook b6 drops, or bishop d3, rook b6 is rook c8 intermezzo check. Bishop d6, maybe the last chance. Yep. He plays it. I think this was expected by Gelfand. You don't play knight e3 and miss bishop d6, so I don't know what Gelfand is going to choose here. I think rook b5. Just play it safe. Just play it safe, because you want to avoid any action, unnecessary action. There's a question from YouTube. Hello, can I give my insights from Prague's game today? You know, I could do it like this. Once the time control is going to finish, and if there is not going to be big action right away, if there's not going to be an interview, I'm going to check Prague's game. How does that sound? So the plan was knight c5. Yeah, knight c5, I guess it's okay. Knight c5 seems to be okay. Yeah, in the meantime, we are following also the live game of Studer, and Studer appears to be completely winning, and he played this rook a8, cool move. Now there is no rook d8 ideas. Very nice, very nice. So let me double check if the game actually is still proceeding. I think it is. Knight d8. So the Frenchman is trying the last tricks. Okay, maybe let's quickly switch back to the game, because there's some action going on, and the question is if Studer is gonna find his way in the complications, because if he does, this game's gonna be the first finish today. Yeah, so I think I didn't mention the plan for the streaming schedule was to check the Masters games in the last rounds. But if there's really something exciting, I might switch after some of the major stuff is finished here, because this is still the main event. But of course, I understand that in the Masters tournament, there are also so strong players playing that there might be not even worse action going on. A1 queen, rook e8 check, and that's not a perpetual. Rook e8 check, king g7, rook e7, king f8, rook f7, king g8. That's it, resignation. Last couple of moves, rook e8 check. Studer knows this. He has it. So this means Studer is going to score the very first victory in the tournament. And he was such a big fighter yesterday because he blundered heavily in the time trouble. And then he fought back like a lion. That shows some character. Rook f7, king g8. I think this is going to be the final move. Oh, wait, which move is it now? It's move... Yeah, now you can resign. Now you can safely resign because this is move 40. 40 moves got finished. There's no time trouble. Yeah, welcome everybody. Also, Alessia, hello. Welcome everybody who is watching the stream. Rook f7 was indeed included. Okay, after king g8, there's going to be resignation. Even king e8 wins. There's no chance. I mean, wait, he resigned, right? Yeah, he resigned. Okay. I missed the moment of resignation, I guess. So quite a chaotic game, but again, Studer played a fine game. And yesterday he had a marathon game of 130 moves. I was really cheering for him because I'm always cheering for players who are facing, at least on the paper, stronger opposition. I was impressed how he fought back in the Chess 960 tournament. Started with 0 to 5, and then he beat Sarin and Gelfand in the final 2 rounds. So I guess the rapid tournament for Noel was a disappointment, but yesterday he also was at the start of doing badly because he had this amazing game. He played this amazing Catalan game, and he was just outplaying his opponent. And then this tragedy occurred in time trouble. He blundered so many times, just lost the game thread right there. And then it was a luck, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it was fate. I don't know. His opponent also blundered, and at this moment he was fighting like a lion. So today, despite the fact that Noel had a very long yesterday, he played a really good game. So well-deserved victory for Noel. He scores 4 points, and this is gonna mean he's gonna climb probably out of the last place. Not sure exactly how high, but we are gonna see the standings. Every victory in the classical tournament is 4 points, so that's a lot. So I guess we're gonna have an interview. Let me check if Angelica is. Yeah, Angelica is here. She's gonna start an interview very soon. Hello, Angelica. Waiting for the interview, right? All right. So Angelica is here. Just a second. I'm not getting a feed for video feed. I'm not getting it for some reason. Oh wait, I might have. Um, just a second. So the video feed. Let me maybe switch it here. Oh, everything works. And that's Angelica there. Okay, I guess they're not ready yet. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. We are gonna have an interview. We are gonna have an interview. So if you have any burning questions to Noel, just shoot away. And in the meantime, while we're waiting for the interview, I am going to switch to another game of Boris Gelfand, I guess. Just let me find it. Yeah, here we go. Gelfand appears to be completely in charge. There's a question in the chat. Is it unfair to have an interview right after you lose a game? But nobody's interviewing the player who lost, at least to my knowledge. Interviewed are winners of the game. Or sometimes if there's a draw, both players are usually joining the tournament. So of course, I understand that. I know there is this regulation that, for example, World Championship match that both players have to attend the interview. I still remember how Carlsen left after suffering this big loss against Karyakin. So that was really painful. So I can totally relate to that. Let me double check. Let me double check it. Oh, the interview is gone again. No, everything is good. Angelica is ready. So we are gonna wait it for a while. Noel is coming. Okay.
I mean, I didn't prepare that much because, okay, yesterday I was just half dead. So he tricked me a little bit because I played to Petrov, but he transposed to exchange French actually. And I played French before, and I somehow understood. I think I had this position against Bacro 4 years ago here in Rapid, and he completely destroyed me. That's the only thing I remember. So. Yeah, I wasn't that happy. I think G6 is not the move. I think B6 is the move, but I really didn't. I somehow didn't understand like what I should do not to get into transposition. So I freestyled a bit with G6, but now I think he should be better. Yeah, I was quite surprised. Queen A4. I thought Knight E5, and now I don't get to protect with Rook A6, and. I mean, I wanted to play Bishop D7, but it's pretty. Oh, not this one? Yeah, Bishop D7. But yeah, I'm pretty passive here.
And Pleasant, white has more space on the queen
exactly,
side.
Exactly. No, and yeah, knight is coming maybe to A5 somehow, and so that, I was scared about this. But Queen A4, this A5 I liked a lot because Queen C6. Maybe show shortly.
Yeah.
I make a draw with Bishop D7 and the rook goes because Queen can't go to A6 because of Bishop E5. And he might have missed this, I don't know, because after Rook A6 I wasn't so sure anymore. Now my pieces are getting active, and the point is now that Knight E5, I wasn't so sure about Knight E4. Now the point being Knight C6 loses to Knight C3 and then Queen E8. And there's this pin, but I was like trying to get a hold of this endgame when he blitzed out something else. But yeah, maybe Bishop D7. Yeah? D5, but because the point is that even after Queen D7, D5 is coming. Right? So maybe he could have played this, and then I have to go for something else than Knight E4, which then again it's nice for him, but maybe still Bishop D7, Queen A8, and at least I have some play. But actually here I got very optimistic somehow. Like to what I had before, it looks beautiful, yeah? Can finally develop, and he also took a lot of time, so my idea is just Queen B8, Queen B4 or something. And okay, Bishop F4, I think Knight H5 was fine. Wow, this was even a game before, yeah? How is that possible? And even a correspondence. Wow.
Yeah.
So we played some kind of decent moves, or?
Yeah, so actually, yeah, according to what I saw, there was the game played, I guess, up till the move. Oh.
Yeah, because here it was, yeah?
Yeah, till here, and it was played Queen B8 in the game.
Wow.
Queen B8 was played, and you played Knight H5. So, but you played afterwards, yeah, Queen D7.
Yeah,
so
that's why I think Bishop G5 is bad, actually.
So
Because I wanted anyway Queen B8. And now I didn't understand H3 if he blundered or if he underestimated something. But it's already quite uncomfortable. Like, how do you protect
The
B2?
problem is then if B3, then probably Queen
Yeah, the
somehow
queen is
gets,
dead, yeah?
gets stuck, yeah.
Well, I mean, Queen B4 is always a move, for example, but yeah, I mean, I just wanted to see him make this ugly move. But H3, yeah, I mean, Queen B2.
But maybe here Rook AC1.
Somehow move my knight. What is happening? Am I losing
Maybe
my
not a
queen
big
somewhere?
improvement, but
No, the point is probably this, yeah? But, I mean, I don't know. I don't believe somehow, but maybe Rook D1. Rook D1?
Rook D1, Rook D2? Oh no,
No,
D2
Rook
is not
D1,
possible.
Rook Bishop C4. No, I mean, I think it's already pretty good. Also, Bishop B5 is an idea.
Okay, so
So-
Queen B3 was played.
Yeah, I actually at the beginning I thought it might be that he wanted to play this because G4 and B4 are threatened somehow. But I think this Knight F6 was very strong. With the idea if he plays B4 now, then Knight E4. And now he has real
Yeah,
problems.
it's getting somehow the diagonal. And everything.
Exactly, yeah. So if he takes the problem of the bishop of g5 is also always this, yeah? So it's quite stuck, and you can also not do anything else because knight g5, bishop d4 is also a threat. So yeah, this and I mean I should be much better here, but as always I started to doubt, and he got a lot of counterplays. I'm not sure. Like I thought I could also play this because taking on a5 is just very sad.
Yeah.
So I thought, what did I think? Oh no, I actually thought this. Oh, suddenly I got afraid of b8.
Sorry.
Oh, b8 not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. b8, rook a5, rook e8, but probably it's. And I thought maybe he gets some
Rook b8
counterplay. Yeah, rook b8, rook a6. I mean,
Yeah.
probably I'm much better. Also here I have this bishop e4 that forces actually a rook ending, which might just be completely winning.
Yeah, actually, it looks.
So, but somehow I got scared of this, and because the point being, if I play rook f8, rook fa8, if he goes b5, I thought that now I can go bishop
Yeah.
d8, and now there's no knight b4. That was what I didn't like with the pawn on a4. So.
But
yeah.
I guess this even move bishop d8 was possible to play
Maybe,
in the
yeah.
game. So he
Yeah.
played a4, and here after b5, so it's already much better for black in this position. And here bishop d8, I think it was recommended. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, somehow I got again scared of some ghosts probably. So g4, bishop,
Bishop d3.
bishop d3, knight b4.
Ah, yeah,
and
knight before. Yeah.
so it can't stay on the diagonal and it has to go,
d6.
I don't know, maybe. Yeah, this, such a thing I
And
wasn't,
d5, d5.
I somehow wasn't so sure anymore. Or if I go on d7, there's always knight e5, so maybe this. But it looks a bit, I don't know.
But pawns are too strong.
Yeah, probably computer just laughs at you, yeah? And
Yeah.
some human is like, or at least I am like scared, but
But
probably
you went
this is
for,
just-
for more human and practical way, probably to get your pieces still more active.
yeah, but actually this
But
g4,
allows
g5
more-
was very, very nasty.
Yeah.
Like how can I, and
Yeah.
here I even thought maybe this.
So I believe the move before actually,
He c6,
yeah, I
yeah?
guess here, yeah, just c6 was a move for white.
Uh-huh.
Actually, it was twice at this moment, and 2 moves later, 28's move was also
Yeah,
c6.
c6
It
I
was-
thought b4, but yeah, I mean it's complex. I somehow didn't see how he gets his pawns running like.
But at least
rook-
later c6, so then yeah, bishop e5.
Wait, but how is this working? Can I not take here?
Wait a second.
Yeah,
c1.
this rook, yeah?
Yeah. So the thing is, you cannot protect with rook d7.
this rook, yeah?
Just takes.
Wait, but bishop f4. Oops. This rook f8. That was my idea, but then. Yes, this.
But yeah, pawns just. Oh. Wow. Okay, that's.
Okay, that's a study, yeah?
I didn't
Wow,
see
that
Wow.
that is totally insane. Because if not, I
Wow.
think I'm just winning, yeah? But
Yeah.
rook e5, oh my god. It's lost, yeah?
Yeah. But it's very hard to find this.
Yeah, I think humanly it's
Yeah, but
pretty much
very,
impossible.
very interesting position when both players are pushing their rooks. It's like anything can happen. Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
very
I
tough
mean,
to
it's
find.
that's why bishop d8 probably was like the safer solution because
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
might look ugly, but I probably don't lose it. And here, if I miscalculate one thing, yeah, and here, okay, maybe I should take e5 first. Might be a bit more clean to take, and now this, and then b4 because I win some kind of a tempo, I think. But okay, this c6. Now, I mean, again, I don't know. Some things like this.
Yeah, but
I
somehow
wasn't
black
so
is
sure.
always faster.
Probably, yeah. Computer is always happy, but
It was also nice that you took. So bishop c8 was also possible that you took actually that pawn, that you decided not to go for it.
yeah, I thought, okay, that must be winning. But then again, he found some some tricks here. Yeah? B2, rook cd1.
Also was interesting, maybe you even didn't have to move the rook and
Yeah,
immediately B2.
I thought that it will probably transpose, huh?
Ah,
At least.
yeah, then
So I
anywhere
thought,
would be
why
nice.
not rook c8 first?
Okay.
Yeah, now probably I'm again
Yeah.
was seeing some ghost. I saw this,
And king e8.
this, king e8, yeah.
And that's not.
And suddenly I thought this was
Yeah.
amazing, amazing resource. It was funny because I told myself while calculating like,
Yeah.
okay, the knight cannot move.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I saw knight f8 because it's so beautiful that this is a perpetual, yeah? This is just a draw. So I thought, oh wow, that's amazing, so I can't go for it. But luckily, okay, rook a8 is also winning, yeah? It all looks a
You
bit...
just went for a safer way, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, luckily there is no rook d7 mate, but... yeah. No, now
Because of the
it's just winning. But a lot
Yeah.
of sweat, I have to say.
Yeah, it was sharp game. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
So you come from Switzerland. How did you spend your rest day here? Because maybe players who were not there just visiting something. So how did rest day come from you?
Actually, I spent already so much time in Biel, and because I'm like 30 minutes with train from here, from Bern, so I don't. I just walked a bit with my girlfriend, and we just tried to relax. But I think, I mean, the lake is very nice in Biel, and also if you want to take a train to Bern, it's beautiful. Like, I still believe it's one of the most beautiful cities. And
So you like Bern more than Biel?
yes. I mean, it's always if you come from somewhere, yeah, you will love the city probably. But no, I think also objectively there are many things to see in Bern. So if anybody wants, I can recommend.
And how do you feel yourself? You mentioned a few days before that you didn't feel so well, and how's it going for you right now during today's, especially yesterday's long game? How
Yeah,
do you feel?
I mean, it got better. First game and the rapids were awful. Basically, I couldn't focus. And today it was better. Yeah, honestly I don't really know why it was so bad because I relaxed quite well. Like it's a problem with tensions because I had an accident, and usually it's if I relax a lot there is no problem. But somehow the moment I came here it was all full again. So yeah, let's see. Maybe it was nervosity, and now I'm into the tournament. I can relax a bit, and yeah, let's hope.
So we should relax, calm down more, and get better. And good luck in tomorrow's game.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, you heard that was the Noel Studer in the interview with Angelika Volkova. Just a sec, let me maybe find one of the boards which is still playing. And Noel said he was not feeling okay. I don't know what happened to him. He said he was not feeling so well during the Chess 960 and Rapid tournament. Now he seems to be feeling better. So I can only join the congratulations from other players, other people, that Studer was finally able to score the first win in the classical tournament, and also with the black color. Yeah, so he's from the city of Bern, which, if I heard correctly, is something like 30 minutes from Biel. So he's basically playing home, has the home field advantage, so to speak. All right, let's check what is happening here in the other games in the meantime. So Studer scores a win with amazing game. I'm gonna check. Alain Pichot has made a draw. Oh, that is interesting. Maybe we are gonna get a second interview shortly. Maybe I shouldn't have hung up on Angelika. Are we gonna have a second interview?
For that, maybe you would like to analyze the game a little bit for us?
Yeah, of course. I didn't expect the French for this game. I tried for Tarrasch now. I think this is all theoretical. I didn't remember this line of f6, but I think it's possible to take on f6 and castle.
Yes.
It's possible. Takes castle
I just checked this last minute, so I thought this line was not so hard to play for black.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, one nice line is that this doesn't work.
Ah, knight g5.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And the line was
It's quite tricky.
takes,
Check.
g6,
G6.
takes.
Takes.
Ah, knight e4 round.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Seems winning for white, but actually black is winning here.
Yeah, with king
Yeah.
d7.
Yeah. And there is. It continues a bit. Now the thing is, you just take and
And the queen is dead. Interesting.
Wow.
this is a good hand.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So-
So you,
f6.
you prepared.
I did not prepare, but
You remember.
yeah.
I think this is possible to castle. I played a game a few years ago with this line, but
Yes,
I didn't remember.
I did not check anything here.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew that castles is a good move as well. So
Yeah.
I thought I had to take.
Yeah, take,
Okay.
the same,
Um,
check,
uh-huh.
knight f7, and c4. I don't know, I think it's interesting because I have some ideas with rook e1, c takes d5 quickly. I think it's possible. Maybe bishop e7 now, but
Yeah. I was expecting you to start at rook e1, but then I'd maybe go bishop d6.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
G6 now,
Yeah, I thought I had to play g6 at some point.
queen e2, and the line with bishop g7, it's
Yeah, I
interesting.
think this was really interesting.
C takes d5 and castle.
Yeah, probably this doesn't work, but like if it works, black has absolutely no problem with it.
D takes e6 and knight e5.
D takes e6 and knight e5. If
Bishop
like
e6,
this would be the most ideal for sure, but
bishop g6.
yeah, I tried to make this also work with some queen d7, but yeah, I think white just comes
Bishop
here.
c2 and
yeah, queen
h5
e5,
ideas.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
probably.
White is too fast.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, knight d5 here
uh-huh.
and bishop c4, right?
I think only like
Yeah,
what do
bishop
you think?
c4, queen e7, and rook e1.
Yeah. Like otherwise, I don't think white does anything because if you just move the bishop, it's also interesting. I think black can take, and
No, rook a d.
yeah, after
Ah.
f4 there's queen g4.
Good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, perfect for you.
Yeah.
Bishop. Yeah, but I have the line, the critical line
Yes, sir.
is
Rook e1.
rook e1, bishop e6.
Yeah, I tried to make something like king h8 work,
And
yeah,
queen
queen
e5.
e5
Mhm.
here.
Very interesting. Yeah.
If not for this, I don't think white is better at all.
Takes
Yeah. And
rook f6, knight e4, and bishop c5.
yeah, like rook e8, the endgame is just bad, I think.
I take
Yeah.
on e6 and knight f3, for
Yeah,
example.
knight f3.
Mm-hmm.
So if rook f6, knight e. If rook f6,
Knight e4,
yeah, knight e4, and
bishop g5.
yeah, there are too many pins.
So bishop e7, rook e1, h4. Interesting. I don't saw this move.
Yeah, I thought about this move, but I hope like I can castle h4, king g7 some. Hope I don't get
Interesting.
mated. Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see.
I saw this move briefly, but I was just
Mhm.
hoping it didn't work.
Interesting.
So
Rook e1 and d4. Yeah. The other line probably was
king f8.
king f8, knight f3. No,
Uh,
king f8, knight f3, bishop f6, and bishop f4 with rook a d1. I think
yeah, like
I like
I'm,
that position.
I'm fine with playing king f8, king g7 if you have already taken c d, e d. But now I don't know what to do with this bishop.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, d4 it's
Thought
It's okay.
Had to do that.
knight f3, castle, bishop f4.
Yeah, I was expecting you to put the knight on e4, but maybe this is
Yeah, the other possibility here, knight e4,
yeah,
castles, and bishop f4, the same.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Then I'll
interesting.
get e5. And, yeah, probably what you played is better.
Yeah, I like more the
Mhm.
two person on the a5 probably.
Yes.
Bishop f4 and a5. I don't see.
No, I thought
Interesting.
some rook a6 e5 might be helpful.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, most
You
natural
don't have a
moves
lot
to
of
play-
possibilities here.
Yes.
probably.
Bishop d6 is very natural. I think most
Mhm.
natural is
Yeah.
bishop d6.
Bishop d6 now or a5 and bishop d6
Uh-huh.
then probably.
Yeah. So knight e5.
Knight d5. Take. Probably bishop d6 is interesting because I don't know if I have f4 because this is interesting. Rook takes f4 and takes. You have some e5 and bishop e3 ideas with 2 pawns.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, like queen e4, e5, and bishop f5 probably.
Yeah,
Yes.
probably. Bishop f6, queen
Yeah,
g4,
I was expecting more queen c2. I think that's also possible.
Here?
Yes.
queen c2.
This was slightly irritating for me.
Because I have some bishop g6.
Bishop g6. Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
Maybe king g7 or something.
Yeah, king g7 is very natural. Maybe it's okay, but I don't know.
H4 or c3 for f4 and h4. Oh,
Yeah.
queen c2, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe g3 first. But I don't know how is it after queen h4, rook c5
yeah.
also.
Interesting. Queen c2.
Yeah.
Play this queen g4, takes, and queen f6.
Yes. I cannot play b6, right? That's
Here,
no. Sorry. Like after queen g4. Like, can I just ignore? I was thinking.
b6, bishop g6,
Yeah, I was. Sorry.
b6, bishop g6, takes, king h8, rook e4. And I think I'm winning here.
I
And
can
rook
take.
g4.
Rook g4.
Yes. I don't know what I think I'm winning here.
Queen
Wait.
f6.
Queen f6, queen h5,
But rook a7.
rook. Oh, rook a7.
Oh,
Oh, rook a7. I'm not winning.
I think so. Yeah, I saw.
Only move.
I did not see rook g4, but I saw rook a7 might come.
Uh huh.
But after rook e5, I think it was dangerous. Otherwise, I would go for
Here.
it. No, yeah. Instead of rook g4, I think you just take. I have to
Rook
play
f5,
f5
takes and rook e1,
takes here. Rook e1 and
bishop d7,
I don't know, queen f7.
and rook e7.
I did not see how to defend after this. I can give back the piece, but of course.
It's unpleasant, of course. Bishop e5 takes, queen e2 here, b6, g3.
Yeah, you have to play it immediately because otherwise I get queen f3.
Yeah. Rook a7, f4, rook g7, rook f1, and bishop d7. Yeah, I don't see the idea of rook f5. Queen d6, queen e2, rook f6. I don't know how to play
Yeah,
here.
it looks nice, but it's not so easy.
Yes, probably.
Do you run as well, or I don't know?
No. Probably, yeah, with the king.
Yeah.
King f2, king e1, king d2, king c1.
Yeah, maybe we.
Or
Both
maybe
go to
other
the
idea was
inside.
play b3, a3, and some ideas with b4.
Yes.
But this rook f5, it's interesting item so in the game.
Yeah, if you.
Without the rooks, it's most easy to play with the
Yes,
black,
yes.
with the king.
Yes, yes. Can you go back? Like after rook f5, rook e1? Like, sorry. Or like here, just to come back.
Here,
Yeah.
rook e2 or rook.
better to draw.
Maybe.
Oh, no.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Rook e1.
I don't know, e5, bishop f5, and fe5. If rook e2, maybe there is bishop e5, bishop f5, and bishop g4.
Or maybe rook e2. Rook e2, I like more.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe because bishop f5, bishop f5, f5, bishop g4. So
Yeah. Rook e1 takes and king f8.
yeah, this is probably.
I don't see anything here for me.
I thought maybe I could try, but it's tough for me to play.
Yeah, of course. King e8.
Yeah, h5 just ignore and go king d8.
Yeah,
It
king
should be
d8.
okay.
Always
Should
king
be
d8. 3, king d8, and I don't have queen a8 or bishop c8. Rook g5, bishop c6.
Yeah, problem for black is I think the bishop is just very good on d3.
If I don't play anything, queen g4, rook e5,
Yeah,
it's hard to play with black, of course. h5, and bishop b7.
yeah.
Rook e5, only move here.
I was thinking about sacrificing the queen, but
Oh yeah, with with
queen c6.
queen c6 and
Yeah.
takes on e4. It's interesting, I think. Bishop e4, take and take on e4. queen c5 probably,
Queen, yeah, or e2.
or e2. Have,
Maybe e2.
and c4.
Yeah.
Uh,
But d3, queen e5. I don't know. It was complicated.
mm-hmm.
I didn't think I thought my king was too weak for this.
Yeah.
So
But it is
if I get like d3, rook d7, it could be serious.
yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Mm-hmm. She takes queen, king c7.
Yeah,
It was
queen.
also very nice how you moved your knight king on
The king to
and it is the safety
she
to the
had
queen
to
side.
be-
Yeah.
Queen h4 was nice, I think. Just after you come to f6,
yeah.
Like this.
I don't see anything here for you because my moves only I don't know king c1, king f2, b3, or just move the king, and I don't see how to make progress with black.
say slightly better for me.
Slightly for black, but I don't
but
know. I don't
yeah.
know how to play with black. Probably h5, but I don't know.
Even here,
King
I
h3.
really didn't know what to.
One of the lines I saw in the game, queen a4 here, and
Not here.
yeah, here, queen takes e7. No, here, 1 second.
Okay.
Queen a4, queen e7, and queen d1.
I did not think of.
Bishop e4, queen e2, king h3, bishop e4, and I think I have queen e6 here, and
And it's winning from it.
I don't know what.
Okay.
I'm not.
At least it's a draw, right?
Yeah, probably.
Like at least you can just go queen d8, queen
Mm-hmm.
d8.
Yeah,
Not service.
maybe queen e6. Yeah, I don't know how to make
Okay,
progress.
maybe one thing is after h5, king h3, there is some.
Rook f7. Ah, queen h6. I have. I don't know
Yeah,
this
just-
king h3. Probably I like b3 here.
I would have probably played
King,
king a7.
king a7, yeah. But for example, if I play, I don't know. For example,
I just don't know how to break.
king c1, for example. King c1 and king h2, for example. I don't know how to make progress with black
thought
here.
of- Okay,
Queen
rook g5 is immediately
c8,
going.
rook c5 always.
Like
Queen
and
f7,
games
I
are just-
take and
yeah.
take on h5.
then white is better.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I don't see how to make progress with black. Probably equal
I think so.
here.
So you already went through Fischer random chess and rapid chess, and already it's the third round, so it's approximately the half of the tournament, so to say, half of the triathlon is away. How do you feel yourself here in Biel, and how do you feel? How do you evaluate your chess? Question to both players, anyhow.
Yeah, I'm very happy to get an invite to the tournament. It's really nice to be here. And I think the rapid went very good for me. Classical has been a bit shaky, but I hope it will be better.
Okay. And
Yeah, the
Alan?
same for me. It's an honor to play the classical the Grandmaster tournament. Yesterday I played near to 8 hours. Today I feel
Yeah.
nervous in the game because I play a lot yesterday, but I feel good in general. I play good games, so I'm very happy.
So did you manage to have a good rest yesterday after that long game?
Yeah, of course. 8 hours of play and 8 hours of sleep.
So far, the longest game.
Yeah, of course. The most large game of my life, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
Oh.
really, near to 8 hours.
Okay, so good luck to you tomorrow, and thank you for your time and analysis.
All right, you heard the interview. That was Angelika Volkova. She was interviewing the two players, Sorin Hall against Alain Pichot, who played a draw in their game. There's two more games still ongoing, which is Kirill Alexeyenko is pushing against Gata Kamsky, has an extra pawn. There might be a chance that we might see a third interview very quickly because Boris Gelfand still has a winning position against Vincent Kiemer. Maybe let's focus on that game for a while. This is the current position. And I was thinking about making a short break, but I just don't want to miss the finish of this game. Not sure how long it's gonna continue, because if it's gonna continue very shortly, we might wait for the interview to commence, because I think this is it. I think this is it, because knight takes on d5 is a threat. The bishop on e5 is under attack. I see no defense here. So there's a fair chance that we might see a third game finish very, very soon. Usually at this moment, as you can see, Kimmer is, he resigns. So Kimmer is just recollecting what happened in the game. I know this feeling because sometimes I'm doing it myself. So he knows obviously he's lost, and he already has decided he's gonna resign, but he's just recollecting how this game finished. So really an impressive victory by the veteran, if we can call him a veteran. A really experienced player from Israel, true chess legend, former world championship candidate, Boris Gelfand, and he scores his first victory in the tournament, because in the first round, Gelfand lost against Alain Pichot with the white color. Then the second round, he drew against Michal Sarin with a black color, although from the position of strength. And now he scores a very important victory and claims his ambition for the overall standings, because again, let me remind you, it's 4 points for every single victory. A bit of disappointment for the young German player. I think he misplayed it right after the opening. He got a good position, didn't play a6 in time, and you saw the rest. So let me contact Angelica. I guess there's going to be an interview very shortly, so we are going to wait for it. In the meantime, I'm going to switch for the final game, which is still going. It's Alexienko's game against Gadakamsky. Let me just find the board. I've also relayed the question in the chat that maybe you heard the interview was a bit low on volume. Yeah, so I hope this time it's going to be better. All right, we are gonna get an interview with Boris Gelfand. He is approaching the interviewer, Angelica, in a moment. Let's wait for it to happen. Should start in a moment.
You can be without masks. Okay, so we are having our third game of the round 3 finished. Boris Gelfand just won his game against Vincent Keimer. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Maybe we'd like to share some ideas about the game. For example, it was pretty interesting when you played this 94 move. I believe it's quite a novelty, so to
No,
say.
but basically 93, it's almost a novelty. It's a
Yeah.
new idea. Okay, it's playable. Yeah, it's playable. And 94 is okay. So here I have b3 is a good move, and I have full compensation. If he takes, I take, and it's compensation. And he tried to Here it's interesting, but he has to take rook d1. I have to play. I don't know if he has to play queen b6 or not. Probably yes. And now it's tricky because, okay, my pawn a4 is a good move.
Yeah.
Knight e4. And the point if I cannot play a3 because of a5 because of this 3.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, no,
Yeah.
no, and okay, f2 is hanging. So queen d3, and also here I calculated very interesting combination to take, and go here. Queen has to go. We go here. Queen goes here, and the queen c7 with a pip. But unfortunately, I think it doesn't work because he plays bishop c5. Oh, sorry, no,
Sorry?
bishop. Yeah, override. I take, and he takes with a knight, and okay, a lot of checks here. Maybe I missed something completely, but queen d3 is a good move. It consolidates position. And the point if he will play knight c5 now, then a5 is strong. Knight d3. And maybe, I don't know, probably here his position is already problematic. Maybe rook d8 he has to play. But he played bishop f6, and I played a5, queen c5, knight h4. And it's a big advantage. I don't think I spoiled somewhere.
Yeah, or it's a big pressure on the diagonal.
It's a big pressure on diagonal. Knight d6 problem must, rook c1, bishop b4.
Yes, you have to give up the exchange
Yes,
here.
yes. Rook d8. Bishop c7, I better take. I thought bishop h3 maybe to play for some compensation. But it's not real compensation. Yeah, I take. And probably I'm in
Or
time.
maybe on d5?
He played on d5.
Oh, he played.
And now I think I take, and probably even d6 immediately. I hope so, yeah? Because we run very quick.
Yeah. He has two bishops, but it's not
Yeah,
easy.
not easy, yeah, with a pawn is strong. And bishop d5 I took, knight g2 I kind of consolidated. And I think I didn't miss anything.
Yeah. They were also pretty. And even when he attacks your.
Yes.
Basically,
Maybe it was not necessary, maybe I could go back.
But just very beautiful.
But beautiful, yeah.
Pawn is just too strong and.
Yeah, here, whatever wins you. Exchange up for no compensation.
So congratulations.
Thank you, pretty good game.
Yeah, so you have been last time, I guess, in Biel in 2009. Is it correct?
Yes, I think
So it's the first time so many years.
Yes, but I had been, maybe I'm still been more than all other players taken together, yeah?
Yeah, of course. How do you feel yourself here in Biel now, especially at these hard times?
No, it's very nice, okay, a lot of memories, you know, you go to certain places and you remember you've been here 93 or, I don't know, 97 or something, yeah? But it's nice to be back here, nice to play chess.
It's a big honor and pleasure to have you here at Grandmasters Triathlon.
Thank you, yeah. So far, okay, first round I made a horrible mistake,
Unfortunately,
but I hope, okay.
we hope it will get better.
Yes.
So today already on the winning,
Yes,
hopefully
yes.
on the winning streak.
I hope.
Good luck tomorrow.
That was Boris Gelfand, the chess legend and the former world championship candidate, explaining his victory over the young German chess talent Winston Kiemer. Really impressive victory, so I can again only join Angelica by congratulating Boris for the well-deserved victory, because so far he's been struggling. He had not the best result in chess 916 rapid tournaments, and finally this might give him the boost of the confidence he's been looking for so far. So maybe I'll very quickly show you what are the current results today. As you can see, Noah Studer scored the victory with black color against Maxime Lagarde. Boris Gelfand played a very convincing new idea in the Catalan, managed to outplay Vincent Kiemer. Alain Pichot against Sorin Nichal finished with a draw. Although I had a feeling that Sarin was pressing at some point, but as you heard in the interview, Pichot was quite convinced that he didn't see how Black can crash through, and thus he was able to keep the position together. Probably he was right. And still the final game, which is still proceeding, it's Kirill Alexeyenko against Gata Kamsky. Before we wait for the game to finish, I want to show the rankings as well. Wait, these are not the right rankings. I'm going to reload them. Yeah, I think the games, yeah, as you can see, the games have been included. The first two places in the overall rankings are currently playing between each other. It's Gata Kamsky against Alexeyenko. They're essentially fighting for the lead in the Grandmaster Triathlon. Sarin has overtook Lagarde for the third place overall, who lost today, and Pichot is not far behind. So we have one more final game, which is currently still ongoing. It's going to be a rook endgame. As you see, Alexeyenko has an extra pawn at the king side. They still have plenty of times on the clock, so this game is not gonna finish anytime soon, I'm pretty sure. So this means I'm gonna make a short break of something like 10 minutes. I think so. Just a sec, let me maybe prepare everything. We are gonna be back after 10 minutes. Don't go away, please. You can still follow us after the break is gonna be finished. One more game is still ongoing. And see you very soon. Welcome back, everybody. This is Latvian Grandmaster Art Connections. I'm streaming from Riga, but the tournament itself is from the Swiss city of Biel, where is ongoing the 54th International Biel Chess Festival. The main event of the festival is the Grandmaster Triathlon. Right now, there is just one game in the strongest tournament still ongoing. It's Kirill Alexeyenko, participant of the previous candidates cycle in order to challenge the World Championship Magnus Carlsen for a match. You probably remember this guy. And of course, it's Gada Kamsky, 5 times United States champion, who's also playing in the Grandmaster tournament. Yeah, again, I would like to remind you about the tournament format. This is a triathlon, unlike any typical round-robin tournament. The participants, they're playing 3 tournaments. They already played a rapid tournament. It was a round-robin rapid tournament which was played last Sunday. It was won by Gatakamsky, actually here's on the screen, by 5.5 points out of 7. Really, really convincing. And this allowed him to seize the control of the overall standings. Kirill Alexeyenko won the Chess 960 tournament, which was held previous Saturday, although it doesn't really count for the overall rankings. As part of the triathlon tournament is also the classical tournament, which started this Tuesday. So this is round 3. Kamsky still leads the tournament. He scored a victory in the first round against Noel Studer, confidently with the white color. Yesterday, he made a draw again with the white color, got a nice position after the opening against the Frenchman Maxime Lagré, decided not to push his luck and agreed for a draw. In the meantime, for Alexeyenko, the rapid tournament was a slight disappointment. He scored only 4 points out of 7. I think so, it was 4 points. Yeah, having lost to the top 3 finishers. And in the classical tournament, he won a very long first rounds game against Sarin Mikhal, 91 moves in total. They played something like 7 hours, and he was able to grind it out. Really, really long game. A huge willpower for the young Russian. And yesterday, Alexeyenko was playing with black against the young German talent Vincent Kiemer. The game finished in a draw. Pretty much uneventful, I would say. I mean, the players played really high-level chess, and there was, in the end, not much to say. So this is the game today. And let me maybe show you the rankings overall. So these are the rankings currently. As you can see, Gata Kamsky leads the tournament with 16.5 points in the total. Alexeyenko is in the second place. Everybody else today already has finished. So if Alexeyenko wins today, this means he scores 4 points and he's going to take the lead in the overall ranking. So this means this is a very, very important game for the young Russian. Although Kamsky has seemingly got already excellent chances to draw this because he has entered the position into a rook endgame. The rook is very active. So rook c3 is a threat. And I guess you could give something like a check here, maybe check here, play rook e8, go back, rook c3, rook e3, rook c4. And the question is, how exactly is white going to win this? So it's super, super tricky. And I think Alexeyenko might have missed his moment because we had this position some time ago. Let me go back, maybe. It was around here. So it was quite apparent that white is enjoying simply an extra pawn. And Kamsky was fighting like a lion starting from that moment. Alexeyenko tried to improve his position. Of course, Kamsky wouldn't really object to simplify the position. Now the knight on a5 is disconnected from action. So here, after knight e4, rook c4, knight f3, finally the American traded the bishop for the knight, entering the rook endgame, and here we go. This is the current position. Wait, it's not the current position. Let me reload the board again, because the chess.com board, it's sometimes a little bit funny here. No, rook f8 is played. Rook f8, king g6, this is played. There's a question in the chat, what is this tiebreaker? Yeah, the tiebreaker is the Chess 960 tournament. So it really matters. It really matters who scored higher. And since Alexienko won the tournament. If there's going to be a tie in the end of the Grandmaster Triathlon, it's going to be him taking the edge over everybody else. So the upcoming schedule is that the Biel Chess Festival still continues, obviously, for many days. This is only round 3 of 7 rounds. Tomorrow there's going to be 4th round. I'm also going to have a guest in the studio, so it's not only going to be me. And on Saturday, the players are going to take break from the classical chess and they're going to play a double round-robin blitz tournament, probably one of the most exciting tournaments of the entire triathlon schedule. And yeah, so I guess it's going to be really, really exciting. And also, I will have a guest for at least half of the event. And on Sunday, it's going to be break. The time control for the blitz event is going to be 3 minutes plus 2 seconds for every made move, the so-called classical time control. But the time control of this classical tournament is 100 moves for 40 moves, 50 minutes for the next 20 moves, and then additional 15 minutes until the end of the game. And yesterday we were witnessing a super long game which might have been entering the Guinness World Record book. I mean, I don't know. They played almost 8 hours. Yesterday, the game between Noah Studer against Alain Pechot, they played 130 moves. So I finished my broadcast yesterday. I said, okay, this is going to be quite a complex Queen's Endgame with extra pawn for white, and they played it for at least 60 or 70 moves more. So almost 8 hours. Both players were clearly exhausted. But as you saw today, it didn't really affect Studer, who played a wonderful game, beating Maxime Lagarde with the black color, and Alain Pechot held Sorin Nichal to the draw. Right. All right. All right. So there was while we are waiting for this game to finish, because I have a feeling again, this game's gonna take a while. Unless, of course, Gata is gonna able to show a very, very precise way to draw this. Ideally, he's looking for a way to trade those queenside pawns, because if he remove the A pawn and the B pawn, that is an obvious draw. So I think something like A5 might be in the cards for black. So for example, A5, B takes, Rook A4, try to trade away this pawn, then push this pawn, and essentially 2 pawns against 3 pawns at a king side. Normally, this is an easy draw, especially for these guys who are playing at almost a super GM level. Yeah, so there was a request for me also to have a look at what is happening in the MTO, because this is not the only tournament. It's the so to speak, the cake of the entire festival, the main event, the Grandmaster Triathlon. But there's also a very strong MTO, or the Masters Open tournament, being held in parallel. During the break, you probably saw this amazing huge playing hall in Biel. And in parallel, they're playing more than one tournament. It's the Masters tournament, it's the Amateur tournament, it's the Sweet Youth Championships, it's the Vinetum youth tournament, and I think there was also simultaneous exhibition at the time. So there's so many things happening right now in Biel. So they're just playing on the podium, and everybody else is playing in the open tournament. There's a question in the chat: what is the price for the first place? I didn't check it, to be honest. I think they're good prices, really. Let me maybe check what is happening in the MTO. In the MTO. Just a second. Let me prepare this for you. Just a moment. Give me a little moment here. I'm gonna remove this so that you are not distracted by some things. Let me try to find those games, because I think I saw them. Okay, here we go back. So this was the top board between Surya Ganguly Shekhar against Salem Salek, two of the leading players in the MTO tournament. Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot see the standings here. Maybe very quickly I can show you what happened here. So the open tournament is so strong, so strong. There's so many players over 2,650. And if I counted correctly, 12 players over 2,600. So I would be, if I was playing myself in the Masters tournament, I think I was calculating I was number 18 in the list. Definitely not among the favorites, although I'm a grandmaster myself. Yeah, so e4, the Karakan e5, okay, h4, quite an aggressive way to play. Usually the idea is, of course, try to exploit the fact that black cannot play e6, there's going to be g4, f3, h5, capturing the bishop, but it's quite an obvious mistake. So e4, knight c3, d takes, bishop takes, knight e7. This seems to be big theory. Bishop e2, now the pawn on h5 is sort of in trouble. Queen b6. Not sure why black didn't take the pawn on h4. Maybe the h-file, opening the h-file actually favors white, because there might be some g3, knight g7 ideas on the rook on h8 is sort of in problem. So this wasn't played, and then black played queen b6. Again, why not take the pawn on h5? Maybe the idea is because black is going to play take on h5, play g6, and recapture on h4 with the rook. So bishop f4 was played, offering to take the pawn on b2. Black didn't accept it. Takes, queen d2. Now we have about peaceful position. Another pawn sacrifice. You know, I don't know. Definitely what is clear is that they're not counting the pawns. So white freely sacrificed the pawn on h4. I don't think that Ganguly here has a compensation for the pawn. At least I don't see. He has some space advantage at the queen side, but shouldn't be enough. But maybe the thing is that for black it's not so simple to finish development, because after Shilkas the pawn on h5 is under attack. So a5 was played. Okay, the pawn on a3 wasn't taken for whatever reason. I don't know why. Now this is a mate in one. Quite obvious to spot. a6, pawn sacrifice. Okay. Yeah, so I'm literally very quickly browsing through what happened here. I just don't understand most of it. It's just so super modern, so sharp chess. Both of the players are playing super aggressive. And somehow this ended with a draw. Now white appears to having a huge advantage, because the h-file is open, and at the moment white is technically up a pawn. Rook b6, queen b6, rook h1. Nice idea, go to mate. Check, rook h6. You know, okay. Wait, what? Queen f5, queen d7, and finish with a draw. You know, I'll tell you honestly, probably for me to explain what happened there, I would have to spend something like a good half an hour, because it was very, very sharp, very aggressive play from both players. I think there were mutual mistakes in between, maybe not really like blunders, but some positional inaccuracies. But this is how they play. I mean, they're playing super aggressive chess. They have no respect for the black color. Doesn't matter you're playing with white or black. They're pushing for the win, and this is the reason is the open tournament format. Because in open tournaments, unlike in round robin tournaments, the players are used to fight every single game. So it's not like you're playing for the win with white, draw with black. Sometimes this works, but players who have pretty much grown up in open tournaments, they're used to fight in every single game. So this is exactly what you saw. Somehow it finished with a draw. It's a really, really exciting game. I think right after the opening, Salem Saleh had simply an extra point with no compensation, and then Ganguly was able somehow to complicate the game and turn the tables around, and maybe was even winning at some point. But okay, I guess the draw is fair. For the leaderboard, I would have to go to the official page. I can do that, by the way. I think so. Let me maybe switch here just a second. So this is the official website of the Biel Chess Festival, and yeah, there's the Masters tournament. Pairings and results, and here you go. As you can see, there's so many strong players. It's Salem Saleh, he's almost rated 2700. Then there's Pavel Ulyanov, number 2 from Ukraine. He used to be top 10 in the world. Alexander Donchik, one of the strongest German grandmasters. There's so many Indian players. There's Pragananda, the young Prague, Ganguly, Saturaman, Kartikeyan Borali, I mean Naranyan. I mean, there's so many strong players here playing in the Masters tournament, and so today's results, I can very briefly check it. I mean, I had no time really to follow it closely, but you know, we're gonna try to fix that for the final rounds when there's going to be decider for the winner of the MTO. We are gonna check more closely what is happening on those games as well. And as you see, the top boards finish with a draw. Fedorchuk today beat Chitrambam. Draws. Yeah, and I also want to mention that starting with the first round, the opposition for the favorites was really serious, because as you can see, Salem Saleh already was playing against international master open tournament in the very first round. Incredible. And in the second round, in an open tournament, there was already a grandmaster fight. Arjun Erigaisi, one of the Indian young superstars, already was playing against Salem Saleh. Ulyanov was playing against another grandmaster. Situraman lost against another grandmaster, so really a tough tournament to be in. Right, maybe let me switch back to Alexeyenko's game if I'm not missing anything. Wait, this is not Alexeyenko's game, is it? Let me find it. Should be in a second. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, nothing has really changed here. Rookie 3 was played. Now, I think Kamsky is thinking about a5. I think so. Maybe actually Alexeyenko is kicking himself for not playing more accurate before, because I have a feeling this is going to be a very long game again, because he played the first round's game against Saren 2 days ago, and it was a 91 move game. And again we are in the same shoes, right? I mean, for Alexeyenko, he is having this endgame extra pawn. The same was against Saren as well, although the position was more complex. Sort of like a draw. But how do you make it? So I think here Gata is thinking about a5. I think so. At least I would. Because the normal rule according to Mark Dvoretsky, those of you who have studied Mark Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual, one of his great books, he says if you are the stronger side, you are trying to trade pieces, right? And here white has the rook in position with an extra pawn, so obviously he would like to trade it, but of course black is not going to do it. And another rule for the weaker side who is down material, the rule is you try to trade as many pawns as you can, especially for rook endgames. So I think a5 is a very decent idea here. And Kamsky is looking at this right now and evaluating what happens after b takes on a5, rook a4, rook b3, and rook takes on a5. So I think so. I think this is his process of thoughts right now. And when I'm having a look at this position, I think I would be slightly concerned, am I not making my rook too passive? So one of the ideas for white might be try to get the king to b2 so that I can relieve the rook from b3. So for example, something like king e3. I can, let's say, play something like king f6 so that the rook can go away and rook takes on b5 is not with a check. So let's say I still play king d3. Now I activate the rook, threatening with some g4. And now the question is, can white play f3? f3, king f5 is impossible. Let's say king g6, king c3, some kind of a check here and here. Rook b4 and king f5. Now the question is, can he go this? Can he go for this? And I think Gata is looking at all of this right now. So he has a choice either to try to force marriage with a5 or just sit and wait. Or just sit and wait. He can do that as well. G4 is impossible. Try to trade the pawns on that other side of the board is going to result for black losing on the spot because of rook e5 check. King e5, king g4, and that. So black is a little slow to run to these pawns because the f pawn is going to advance very quickly. So I think a5 is a very decent idea. Again, a5. A rook b3 makes no sense because after a takes, the difference is that the black rook is very active, the white rook is very passive, and black just sits and waits. Maybe even g4 takes, rook takes on g4, go back, rook c4. So this is not going to happen. So after a5, b takes, rook a4, rook b3, rook takes. And I think the only idea for white here is to get the king to the queen side. That's it. I mean, you need to free the rook from passively defending the pawn on a3. So something like g3 probably just takes. Although maybe g3 could be a good idea to include. H takes, f takes, and then run with the king to b2. Maybe even black can play g4 check, h takes, and king g5, and try to draw this. So for example, king goes here, takes, king goes here. How do you draw this? I mean, it's not very clear. Rook a4, king c2, rook c4 check. Some rook c3 ideas. You know, this looks actually losing for black because the king is so far away. Because let's say black plays something like rook e4 here and rook c5. Even if the pawn on g3 is lost, there's a fair chance that this is losing. So after a5, b takes, rook a4, rook b3, rook a5. g3 probably he has to be taken. I'm not sure about that. I imagine that black wants to trade as many pawns as he can. I'm not sure about g4. Maybe that's not a good idea. But then again, white simply wants to get the king here. So I think Kamsky is looking at this, all of this right now. He's trying to make sure can he do this, and Gata has an excellent technique. He's very skilled in endgames. So definitely this is something he's not gonna take lightly. Maybe he just should do nothing. Just wait. Just wait. Because also for white, it's not really obvious how white is gonna progress here. I guess something like still G3. Try to create a passer at the king side and then try to get the king here and swap this pawn for this pawn and then try to somehow generate a pass pawn at the queen side. So I'm not sure how I'm supposed to do that. I don't know. I can try to make, let's say a check. Rook goes back. Something like G3. Let's say takes. And black tries to play very active. King D2. Ah, wait, there's Rook H1. There's Rook H1. Not very obvious. Yeah, that's why there's the saying that the Rook endgames are the most trickiest endgames of them all. And if you want to save a game by being down a pawn, you simply go to an endgame. Wait, I think my camera is stuck a little. Unless Gata is so focused, like he's not moving. I think the camera unfortunately is stuck, yeah. Okay, it's gonna be back. It's gonna be back in a moment. There's a question in the chat about the other game. Oh wait, it's not stuck. It's just Gata very concentrated. I thought the camera just stuck because we had some issues before. No, he's just very busy. Very busy. Very concentrated. Amazing concentration. He's literally not moving. Okay, he is moving. Okay. Okay, so definitely this is a big decision. I think Kamsky suspects this is a draw. So I think I would play a5. Because I would be seeking some kind of a clarity. And it's very difficult just sit and do nothing. I mean, this is completely different to what we are taught to do. He knows the dangers of a5. He's not sure. And that is the biggest problem. He might... he suspects that a5 probably is the good move here, but he might just make the decisive mistake by playing a5. He knows obviously all of these endgame rules, and he's so experienced in endgames, and with all of his previous success, obviously he knows this is a very critical moment. So essentially he has a choice. The door number one, he plays a5, tries to trade the a pawn and as many pawns as he can. Door number two, he sits passively and does nothing. What does he do? I cannot get inside of Agata's head, but he's definitely considering a5. So again, let's check it. So a5, b takes, rook a4, rook b3, rook a5. So white is never going to allow to trade the a3 pawn for the b5 pawn because that would be a draw. And let's say white plays here g3. H takes is a very reasonable move. Takes. And let's say black now starts to sit and do nothing. Just do nothing. Let's say king f6. King g4, I don't think it's a big deal. You can always play king g6. So it's not going anywhere. So let's try to run with the king towards the queen side to b2 so that we relieve the rook to somewhere. And actually black can try to do the same. King e5, here, some sort of king d6, king c2, king c6, king b2. And maybe even instead of king c6, already h4 might be a move. So the point is g takes, rook a4, and rook h3. Oh, wait, this draws somehow. Takes, h5, and yeah, this is a draw. This is a draw. Okay, so maybe my idea was good, but I just made it too quickly. So let's say king b2 and something like rook a8. And now h4. So white's idea is try to create a passed pawn, put the rook behind, push forward, and then try to get this pawn b5. So all of this makes perfect sense in terms from black's perspective. I'm sorry, yeah, not king f3, but let's say, where was this line again? King e3, king e5, run towards the queen side. King b2 to protect the pawn. Okay, maybe something like rook a4, but rook a4 allows rook b4 and then rook g4. So the last thing Kamsky wants, he wants to get some kind of position where this rook is in front of the pawn and the attacker's rook is behind the pawn. So this is a nightmare position for him. Now maybe here, he still needs to be quite precise. Let's say rook a8, h4, and now make some kind of rook g8. With the idea to play after h5, g4, here, and trade the pawns like this. And now white is not in time to position the rook behind the pawn. I think he made a move. Just a second, let me double check it. What was it? So a5 is played. Yeah, just as I thought. I mean, a5, you are just simply seeking some clarity, and yeah, you just want to trade some pawns, and you know this is according to the chess rules and endgames. You are trying to trade as many pawns as you can. You're trying to trade the pawns at the queen side. You're trying to trade the pawns at the king side, and the less, the better. I mean, the less pawns on board, the better, because essentially, if white is left with just one pawn and rook each, it very often is a very easy draw. But with more pawns on the board, the situation is slightly more complex. So far, the players have played 50 moves. There's not going to be any time trouble because after 60 moves, both players receive extra 15 minutes on the clock. So this game definitely has a potential to be played many moves. Many moves, yeah. I guess this is what happens every single round. So again, let me remind you, in the first round, we had a super long game. One of the heroes is here on the screen. Kirill Alexeyenko played 91 move victory over Saren Nikhal. In the second game yesterday, there were 130 something, 138 I think moves. Noah Studer was playing a heroic game against Alan Pichot. It finished with a draw after something like 8 hours. Incredible. And today we're seeing exactly the same. Again, the final game, there's no draw happening, at least anytime soon, because the format of the tournament is the classical tournament victory. Every single victory scores each player 4 points. And if Alexeyenko wins the game, he takes the lead in the overall rankings, and this is a game between the leaders. Again, let me show you very quickly. This is the rankings right now. Kamsky and Alexeyenko, they are at the first 2 places. If Alexeyenko wins, he's going to be 17.5 points. If he doesn't win, he's not only trailing behind, he has given up the white color. and Kamsky becomes a favorite. So the stakes are the highest here. And we have a very technical rook endgame. The question is, whose technique is better? Is it Gata Kamsky, 5 times United States champion with many years of experience? Or is it Kirill Alexeyenko, the rising Russian superstar who just played in the FIDE Candidates tournament? I guess we're going to find out. Objectively, it should be a draw. I think so. It should be a draw. But there's this thing as the practical game. You just have to do this over the board, and you're just not 100% sure. Wait, now I think the cam is stuck. There's no way they're both not moving, right? No, wait. Okay, everything is good. This just shows the level of concentration between the players because they know what is at stake here. I'm not sure what Kirill is thinking here. Maybe rook b3 is not really such an obvious move. For me, it was. Maybe he is thinking to keep the rook on e3 and something like g4. There's a question, not a question, but a comment in the chat. I see this looks like a draw. You know, I'm not sure. I've won myself very similar positions before. It just takes one minor mistake. It's becoming from drawn to winning. White should be a draw. I mean, white is having the extra pawn, but I feel it's a draw, but you still need to show proper technique. So I think Gata knows this. He feels this, but he's just not sure about the technique. Now he's evaluating all of the plans from white. I think king goes to b2 is the most reasonable one. So again, g3 or g4, I'm not sure. Let's say here let's say g3, probably take here. Oh, wait, there might be also some g4 idea. g4, king f6, and now the king comes here. Do you even need this? I'm not sure. Probably not. Okay, probably not. So let's say I'm going to try to do this right away. Here. Try to trade the pawns. So white cannot allow that. And king f6. We already had something similar before, and king d2. King e6 now loses something here. Although king e6, rook b5 is gonna be g4. And h4, rook takes on a3. White is not intended to defend the pawn on g3. Quite obviously, h takes, rook a3 is just a drawn endgame. So this doesn't work. And let's say if white tries to play king c2, king d6. So again, rook b5, g4. I suspect it to be a draw here and here. So again, white's plan is to create a pass pawn and put the rook behind, but how do you do it? Maybe this. Rook goes here, here, takes and takes, but that is not the rook behind. It's not what white wanted. And black would try to activate the rook, put the rook behind it. So let's say rook f4, check, here and here. Now this looks like a draw. Now this looks like a draw to me. There's a question in the chat, has Alexeyenko ever reached 27? I think so. I think so, although I'm not sure. He was very close to it, at least. King e2 played. Rook takes a5. King d2, I guess. So Alexeyenko is not gonna push g3. I think he decided not to push g3 because he tries to keep as many pawns on the board as he can. He's gonna run with the king towards the queen side. King d2, that's correct. Yeah, you need a king because, again, we don't want to trade from the white's perspective these pawns, because if you remove these pawns, that's it. It's 3 versus 2 at the queen side. That's it. This is a draw. This is a draw. That's it. There's nothing to do here. At this level, especially. I mean, of course, white can't try this, but... so that's why white is going to try to keep the pawn on a3 alive. King... No, rook a4 was played. So threaten with g4. And now, if Alexeyenko wants to play g3, it has to be right now. It has to be right now. I mean, but not to wait. There's b4. He also needs to deal with the b4 threat. Because he doesn't want to trade. Yeah, so that's why rook b3 is played. So he stops the b4 threat. Maybe I was just wrong about this need to play g4. By the way, I think Alexeyenko was slightly unfairly criticized for his participation in the FIDE World Cup because he was given a wild card from the organizers in the previous cycle. He showed some exceptional results in the FIDE Grand Swiss. Let me remind you, in the 2019 FIDE Grand Swiss, Alexeyenko finished in the 3rd or 2nd place, was it? I think it was the 3rd place. The first was Wang Hao, the Chinese super grandmaster. The 2nd was Magnus Carlsen. The 3rd was Alexeyenko. I hope I didn't mix it up. So I'm just saying from memory. And then he played strongly in the previous World Cup. I think he got to the quarterfinal, maybe semifinal. No, I think it was quarterfinal. And he was given the wild card. And I remember there was a lot of backlash. But he was not to blame, right? I mean, he received this wild card. He is a young player from Russia who recently started to play at his highest level. Obviously, he's not having the experience as the other players, but he definitely has all the chances to become one of the leading Russian grandmasters in the near future. So he played actually really well the first half, maybe not so well the second half of the candidates tournament, and definitely the experience is going to remain. And every single participant of the candidates tournament, they do amazing work preparing for this. So even if certain stuff he was unable to show for the candidates tournament, because it's not only him who is preparing, it's everybody else. All of the 8 participants are doing extremely hard work. There's so many training camps, coaches, etc. You're just training for this huge event. And even if he was unable to show everything he could in the candidates tournament, that knowledge, what he did, it still remains. So I wouldn't be surprised that at some point Alexeyenko is simply gonna show huge results, because this input work in the developing his own skills is gonna remain. King f6 is played to keep rook b5 threat at bay. King c2, king b2, I think we can expect this very quickly. So if Alexeyenko didn't play g3, I don't think he's going to do it right away. He wants to keep the pawns alive. Maybe with the reason that he can always play g3. He can always play g3. You don't force marriage. And again, the rule is black wants to trade as many pawns as he can. Not white. Not white. Then again, if he plays king c2, there's also the incoming g5, g4 threat. he needs to understand what is that. So let's say he plays here king c2, can black play g4? There might be some rook f4 threats. And after h takes, there's more pawn trades incoming. g3 takes. How do you deal with this? I think he's concerned about g4. He's definitely looking at king c2, but g4 should make him worried. So maybe indeed he's gonna play g3, because again, let me check it. King c2, g4. What do you do here? I was having this idea to play rook b4, with the idea to trade the pawns and establish two connected passed pawns, but it just tactically doesn't work. There's rook a2 check, and also might be g takes into the Mets move. Yeah, so just that doesn't work. So after g4, so again, king b2 is gonna be rook f4. I think so. f3, g takes now. This pawn might become a weakness. Maybe at some point the king could go here. So I have a feeling that Alexyenko is gonna have to play g3. What else? What else? I mean, you need to relieve the rook from defending the pawn. Put the king on b3 or b2, probably on b3. So the king goes to b3, your rook is activated. Yeah, I mean, let's say we put the king on b2, play already, the rook takes on b5 is a threat. Okay, maybe there's also a move f3, but this move I don't like because now the pawn on g2 is going to be weakness. Because now white can never easily create a passed pawn, although he might play king b2, rook b4, rook g4. So let's say rook d4 check, king c2, rook d5, with the idea to play king f5, king e4. Rook b4, king f5, rook g4. How do you play this? Let's say I activate my rook here and rook a8. Maybe not rook a8, I don't know. Rook d2 is slightly more active. King b4, I put the rook behind. Now these pawns are traded and that's an easy draw. Big decision. Big decision, but I think g3 will have to be played. I just see no ideas here. So let me again check this line after g3. Maybe black is not even obliged to take, by the way. Yeah, I sort of assumed that black will take on g3, but maybe he doesn't have to. Maybe he doesn't have to take on g3. Just sit and wait. Just play king g6. King c2. Rook c4 check. Activate the rook. Rook c5. Although this now is a weakness. You know, I don't know. It's a simple rook endgame, so to speak, but there's nothing simple about it. Every single minor mistake is going to be punished mercilessly. So there's going to be some action soon because we are approaching a time trouble, sort of a time trouble. It's 6 moves to make for Alexeyenko. This is move 54. He has to make 6 moves, 3 minutes or 4 minutes on the clock. He's not going to flag, obviously, but he needs to make the decision. Yeah, I see your comments in the chat. Gata might draw this based on experience, but you know also Alexeyenko's technique is very strong. Very strong. I was particularly impressed how he outplayed Sarin in the same game. That's one of his strongest part. The strongest parts, the technique. Despite his young age, okay, G3 is played as expected. Now a big question. Is Gata gonna take on G3? Huge moment here. Huge moment. Maybe he can postpone the decision because if you're not sure, never do it. So he could still make a waiting move. Some kind of King G6. So for example, if he's going to make a waiting move, King G6, G takes, Rook takes. Yeah, but also this position is not very easy, is it? Rook B5, Rook H3. No, but this should be a draw. I think... Wait, just a second. Sorry, let me reload the board. I think Gata's gonna take it. I'm not sure how good is this, but you are always seeking some clarity. And G takes on H4 brings some uncertainty on the board. So is it King G6? Is it H takes on G3? I bet for H takes on G3. Although this allows White to create a passer. Then again, let's check this line. King G6, King C2. Let's say Black keeps waiting. King F6, King B2. How long can you wait? How long do you wait? Or maybe Rook E4 try to activate the Rook. Rook B5, check, take. You know, this awfully looks like a losing position or something very close. I don't know. Because now this pawn is gonna run. I don't know. Maybe it's just a draw, but definitely the players are not sure themselves. They're just doing their best. Just doing their best. I mean, they're trying their best moves here. And see what happens. You're just not sure. There is a suggestion in the chat. What about King E2, King E1? No, I think you need to activate the Rook. And you cannot activate the Rook because the pawn on A3 is under attack. So King B2 is the only plan. I think the only question here for Gata is, does he take it on G3 or not? I think he is going to take it. What? Wait. Oh, this is beautiful. Wait, this is a theoretical draw, isn't it? I missed this completely. G takes, Rook H3, B4, A takes, Rook B4, H5, King G7. Oh my goodness. I think Gata found an amazing move. I saw the idea, but I didn't really pay attention to this. Yeah, so he is gonna go for the H and F pawn. That's a draw. That's a draw. But you still need to show a technique. You still need to show a technique. Wait, this is not so simple because black gives up 2 pawns. So it's gonna be G takes, rook takes on H3, B4. White is not in time to play H5 takes. Rook takes on B4. H5, King G7, H6, King H7. But this is so simple actually, but because the king is cut off. Wait, let me reload the board. H takes. What? Wait, does it work? I was only again focusing on G takes. What about H3 here? Rook takes on B5, Rook A3, Rook H5. Check. King E3. Check. King D4. Check. Check. And here. And that's a draw. Wait, I think it's a draw. Again, reload the board. What? Okay, I'm getting surprised all the time. I didn't expect H takes on G3 as well, but that's another theoretical draw, isn't it? So he trades the pawn. A takes. F3. Rook G1 and King F4. You know, I'm amazed. I'm officially amazed because this is something I wouldn't do myself. I would probably only look at H3, this entire sequence of G4, H takes and H takes. Willingly give up the second pawn. This should be a draw because they're blocked. But I would be concerned because I would not be 100% sure how exactly to draw this. But Kamsky is confident. Amazing technique. I mean, if this works, I think it should be working. So 3 more moves to make for the players until to reach the second time control. What is Alexenko thinking here? I mean, you have no choice really, right? G5, King G6 changes nothing. Just take on B4. Do you have a choice? I don't think, yeah, A takes on B4 is played. Rook takes on B4. Yeah, for some reason the last move is missing. I think I saw Rook takes on B4 on the board. Yeah, it's, wait, it's not here. Yeah, wait, what? Yeah, again, if I do a lot of analysis on the board, it just keeps getting stuck. So let's say I play G5 check, King G6, King E3. And something like check here, check here. And I don't know, rook, because this is a losing move already. King g4, f4, that's it, you can resign it. So this is something that he cannot do. Rook b2, and this sort of is a draw, but there is always a room for error.